It sounds real good, like real good. I want to talk about dirty things. Well, let's get into it. So here we are again for your next edition of Noodles Whole Bowl. We're coming to you from the confines of the dugout, deep in the mountains of Northern Virginia, or whatever you call this place around here. But today, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from, we got Mr. Anthony Barnes. This is a guy I served with in the Army way back in the mid 90s. And we both retired. We left Fort Bragg to do different things, different ways, but he went his way. And I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. But without further ado, Tony Barnes. What's up, Tony? Hey, where are you calling me? Where are you from right now? You're from the homestead, right? You're at home now.
Yeah, I'm in North Carolina now.
Yes.
Down on the
So he's in North Carolina, and this is something funny, Navi, that I learned last time we were down from a soccer tournament. And Tony drove 4 hours or whatever it was, something crazy to come visit with us and watch Holden play. Something that us veterans and something we can put out there that's kind of good info is he lives in a retirement community. He has a daughter. So this is a guy, and you're going to find out through our conversation that this is a guy that it doesn't matter where he's going to live. You're not going to mess with him or his, you know what I mean? But anyways, he decided to move because of his job, takes him traveling and such. So he qualifies to live with like 50, those places you see 55 plus, right, Barnes? I'm right. I'm on the right thing, right? Like
yeah, but there ain't an age thing here though. But yeah, it's kind of like a Delray neighborhood.
Oh yeah, they advertise it. They advertise that shit. So if I ever do buy a spot, that's what I'm looking for. I want 55 and up, because then you ain't got weirdos living next to you messing with your kids. Like he's got a daughter that he feels about. He's got to go away, and you know it's safe. So anyways, so Barnes and I go back. So you were in the Army. Tell us. I know, but let the people know, Barnes. Like especially like I like to think of this when we talk. You know, we're gonna hit some current events hopefully in this, but you know, it's like me and you, although we've touched base and stuff, but I think a lot of this is for our listeners. Some of our old buddies are gonna hear, so they're gonna want to listen to what's Barnes doing. They know you went on to retire, but really, what did Barnes do? So here we are, and we're gonna talk about it. So, from Fort Bragg, let's just go. Let me just tell you, Sergeant Barnes, or he was Corporal Barnes when I first got to Fort Bragg, was a fucking wild dick, a mean, like just one of those guys. The people, when the Army says, "Hey, the hardest dude in the Army is a corporal," he tried to live that shit. He was a dick, but he was. Yeah, you were, weren't you? Like but hey, it was cool though. Everybody knew it. It wasn't like you weren't a dick during the day and then cool guy at night. No, Barnes was a dick. Corporal Barnes was a dick. Click the drag. Okay, there we go. We're good.
Sorry.
No, something happened, but we're good. So that's how. That's went down. Barnes was next to me, was roommate, him and Contrado. Hopefully, when you share this, we'll mention his name. He'll get to hear his. He was like your counterpart. He was like your Robin if you were Batman. So you had Contrado and me and Billy in next door, and then there was Barnes. So he was a team leader. At the time, you were a team leader, and then we were squad leader in another platoon. But because we were NCOs, we lived on the same floor and next to each other, that kind of shit. So, What did you do after you left Fort Bragg?
After I left Fort Bragg, I got sent down to Dahlonega. I was a ranger instructor. I had planned on being an OPFOR guy,
right?
Because I was still an E5 promotable. I wasn't an E6, so I had no plans on being an instructor. I was like, hell yeah, man, let me go play games,
right?
But when I got there, the sergeant major goes, "Well, you've got squad leader time." I'm like, "Yes, sir, I do, sergeant major." And he went, "You're going to be an RI." And I'm like, "I'm an E5." And he goes, "Who's running this show, me or you?"
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, hey man, you're cool. If you're good with it, I'm good with it."
Right. So
but dude, that was miserable. That was like being the only E5 in a building full of E6s, E7s, and E8s. It was horrible.
Right. I'm gonna touch on that, but go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah. Well,
hold on a second, Tony. Hold on. What?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Did you hit record?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think so. We did it.
Right.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, it's got a little icon, but go ahead. So you went there, you became an RI. You weren't supposed to be, but you were, of course.
Yeah, I wound up doing it. And then I was on orders to go to Hawaii on 9/11, and 9/11 happened. I was walking a patrol on 9/11.
I was in a recruiting station in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But go ahead.
And
yeah.
I was in Devil's Kitchen doing water resupply next to a creek.
Nice. Listen to this. This is real talk, and a lot of guys will hear this and they'll bring back good memories. Go ahead.
But you know, I was supposed to leave.
Right.
You know, I'd been there almost 3 years, so it was time for me to go.
Right.
The next day when we came out of the woods, you know, everybody was lined up outside of S1 going, "Hey, we're getting out of here." And I'm like, "Shit, I got to get in this line."
Right.
And the sergeant major walked up and he closed the door and he went, "Ain't nobody leaving." And he looked at me and I was like, "I'm on orders." And he went, "There's 2 ways this can work." He goes, "You can cancel your 4187 and it will be referred favorably by the battalion."
Right.
And I was like, "What's option B?" And he just looked at me real mean and he goes, "You want to hear option B?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I ain't digging option A." He went, option B is I cancel your orders and it's remembered unfavorably by battalion. And I was like, well, shit, that ain't much of a choice.
Either way, we're still going to breathe our ass here doing what we're about to do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I canceled them, but it was still remembered unfavorably by the battalion. He rode my ass till the day he left.
Unbelievable. Like, really?
But because I had already been there 3 years, dude, I knew how to pitch all the classes. So
Right.
toward the end of my time there, I was an E6. I got promoted while I was there.
Right.
But, you know, I had E7s that the first sergeant would stick under me until they got up to speed.
Right, so they can figure out what to do. You were always that guy. Barnes was like, you know what I mean? I knew what I needed to know when I needed to know it, but I didn't know it beforehand. You know what I mean? It wasn't in my pocket. Barnes was one of those guys that had it in his pocket. You know what I mean? He could answer the questions before the test. I couldn't answer them before the test. I answered them during the test somehow. You know what I mean? I had my ways. But yeah. So go ahead. So what happened after there? So you stay they tell you you're staying, right? So then what happens? You train that?
Well, I wound up stuck here another 2 years.
Right.
So that was when everybody went off to Afghanistan.
Right, no one.
Everybody came back from Afghanistan.
Right.
And everybody went off to Iraq. And here we are still stuck. And I'm like, bitch, how do I get out of this place?
Not that you want to go to war, but you want to get off the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
So finally, they were like, all right, all you do, you've been here almost 5 years. And I'm like, yeah, you won't let me go.
Right, you were homesteading, bro. You were fucking homesteading. Malingering is what they called it. Go ahead, malingering ass.
I was that way everywhere I went. I was almost 6 years at Bragg.
Right.
I was 5.5 years at RTB.
Right.
And then I finally got out of RTB, and they sent me to the 101st.
Yeah, that's where I see all your history made. I see all the I see your soldiers comment and stuff, and that's something about Facebook I like to see. Even though in a few hours I'm out of Facebook jail, motherfuckers, and I'm gonna go buy weed. Sorry, that's but listen, yeah, like that's one thing I know, and that's one thing I like Facebook. I like to see. I was like, okay, yeah, so I know Barnes retired, but what did he do in that meantime? So, and then when I go on Facebook, I can see like some of your soldiers comment. I know who was a soldier who worked beside you. I can tell just by their comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of them you think, man, if a private said that, I might got some balls. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But go ahead. So how was that? What unit were you in at the 101st?
I was in 4th Brigade, the 506, and
right.
I was one of the dudes that stood it up.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
So when I got there, a buddy of mine who
so you stood it up. That means you started this unit. The unit was not there. We're gonna explain this to our people. So you stood it up. So this falls into what we're talking about, how our government works. So you stood up in a unit. Where'd you get equipment from? Where did your equipment from?
We were the bastards of Fort Campbell. Everybody sent all their broke ass shit.
Broke ass shit, right? Broke ass shit, but you made it work, right? Guess what we left in Afghanistan a couple weeks back, apparently.
New shit.
No, broke ass shit. They told us it was broke, remember? We left broke ass shit. So, and broke ass shit I tell them like I told my people, fuck off. We made broke ass shit work all the time in war. That's what the fuck we had, dude. We weren't prepared. We didn't have the right shit when we started this, but go ahead.
Dude, my first deployment to Iraq with the 101st, they sent me over there with an M14 with a fucking broken bolt in it. Now, if you seriously think that TonyBarnes went to war with a broken bolt.
No, I know you didn't. I know, but look, and we can talk about how'd you repair that situation.
I bought me a fucking boat and put in that motherfucker.
Listen to it. Everybody's like, bullshit. So this is where we validate some of that validation I talked to you about, Naveed. So I remember back at a time at Fort Bragg, and I was at E5, young E5, I think, Barnes, you were a young E5. Massengale was he's old. Billy is old at everything he was. So he was an old
Yeah.
E5. Fuck it. He might have just been promoted, but he's an old ass E5. There you go,
was gonna
Billy.
say-
Fuck you. I tried to get him online tonight, but of course he didn't answer.
I was
Anyways.
gonna say, Massengale had already been out of the Army and came back in twice.
Yeah, he was like a sergeant major of the fucking world then. Oh no, but so remember this. Now you remember this probably. One of our first real like tough missions, Navi, like real Army shit. Like we were the 82nd Airborne Division. Now you see my hair and you see Tony's hair. He's unsat. His hair, he got too much hair on the side of his head for the way we used to work, bro. And you're looking at a bald guy right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because when we were in, this right here would have been skid.
Oh yeah, we were gonna mess you up. Valson would have said something to you, bro. So remember we had this thing. So it was a very prestigious unit, a lot of history. 82nd Airborne Division, most decorated unit in the Army since blah blah whatever. One of the details we did when we had certain phases. So we were in train up phase, or we were on call for 18 hours, wheels up, or we were in just a standby, go help post do shit, clean up garbage and shit. So during this one period, we had to do funerals. Do you remember what I'm talking about? It was real close to home, right? In Lumberton, North Carolina. I don't even know if we got into it. We buried a Navy guy, right? And correct me in this story. I've told this story and people are like, whatever. So we buried this Navy dude. The kind of funny thing about it was he was missing a leg. Nothing funny about missing a leg. Fat back if you're listening to us. Nothing funny about missing a leg, but this dude's, so we had jokes, of course. The guy was already dead. Long time dead. Old guy. We were like, oh, this side's light and all this stuff, remember? So it was funny. But just a story about dumbass privates and NCOs like myself and Sergeant Barnes lived in the barracks. We lived in the barracks with the soldiers. Most NCOs were, with their old lady with their old lady or out on the economy. No, we was in the barracks with these motherfuckers, always getting us in trouble. So we were on this detail, and we had soldiers was to bury a guy, full military funeral, 21 gun salute. It was actually, 3 rounds of 7. So 7 firers, bang, bang, bang. So you were in charge of that. Were you in charge of that detail, or was it someone? You were in charge of the firing squad. I was in charge
of the firing detail.
And who was it? Let's name names now. We can name names. It was a young soldier.
Fucking blanks.
Yeah, who was it? What's his name?
Lyons.
That's his name. Jason Lyons. No, Jason's Lyons was our Lyons. You had your Lyons. Michael Lyons. Michael Lyons. Yeah, Michael D. Lyons. He's on Facebook. So Michael Lyons left listen, Navid, he left a blank round. So when we did those things, we went out to, Lumberton, North Carolina to bury this dude. We're, soldiers all strapped, paratroopers, spit, shine, jump boots, berets, all cool back in those days. Bang, bang, right? So we get down there, and we were at the funeral, and everybody's like, all right, we get this. We got the flag, for the car.
Right, you got to give a little for it.
Oh, go ahead. You do it, man. It's on you. Tell them what happened. I forget most of it. That's what's great about it. Go ahead. This is hold on. Take a break, though. This is probably the problem, Barnes. From the 30 different medications that Uncle Sam gave me, that some of them were 2 and 3, and you understand, you probably had soldiers who went through it. I then DX'd all that shit, and DX is a military term. And this is what I do. I partake in the cannabis, and today's program is going to be brought to us, if we get good, by Chem de la Chem. 30% THC, the best weed on the planet. Your boy Noodles is smoking it. Totally legal. All right, now get back to where we were. So finish this. This story is like, this is, did you tell this story like in your career, like to other people? Yeah. And they were like, nah, or were they like, holy shit?
We had funeral detail, and the first thing I did before they got in the van, I'm like, who's got the fucking blank?
Number one. All right, tell this story. So we go, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, so right before we get in the van, everybody's out there, got the uniform on a hanger. All the NCOs are going through the uniforms, making sure they're right. I look at Lyons, and I'm like, you got the blanks. And he shows me a beret full of blanks.
Right, I remember. Yeah, I remember the blanks. Like, and my memory's fucked up, but go ahead.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm like, all right, everybody go take a piss, put your shit in the van, we're out.
Yeah, we had cool vans.
Now, we had the dude who showed up in case somebody got killed on the way, and he had his uniform. So
right.
We had a spare.
Whose was that? Was that Forey's?
I forgot who it was. Who was the spare?
Right.
But
it's probably a uniform Billy had.
We get all the way to Lumberton, and we're putting on our uniform.
That's like an hour from Bragg. You know that, right? So it's like at least an hour from where we were.
At least an hour.
Yeah. No way we're going back.
No way in hell we can make it back again. So
Fucking Lions.
all of a sudden, Lyons rolls up to me and he goes, "We got a problem, Sergeant." And I'm like, "What problem do we got? We here. Everybody got uniforms. We got guns. We got the flag. We're good."
Right.
He goes, "I left the blanks." And I'm like, "What the fuck you mean you left the blanks?" He goes, "I left my beret on the CQ desk with the blanks in it." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding
and
me?"
there we're correcting the story. I always thought he left him on the bunk. Go ahead. Lions left him on the CQ desk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ever watch that Stogie?
Yeah. So now we're riding around Lumberton looking in farm stores, feed stores,
Right.
Kmart. We're looking anywhere for 223 rounds because we got to have something that makes a gun go bang.
Hey, and listen to me. Break. Not all of us were fucking rednecks and these hunters and all this shit when we joined the Army. A lot of us got bribed into what the fuck we did in the Army. So we didn't know our ass in the holy ground when it came to weapons and shit. So we had no rounds. We were not going to be able to make bang, bang, bang like we were supposed to. Yeah. So Barnes told us, hey, 223. I'm a redneck. That'll fit. What, did we even have M4s there? We had M16s.
Yes, we had just got M4s.
So we just got M4s. So we weren't that cherry. So we had M4s, and they were like, "Oh man, we need some rounds." He's like, "We can get 223 rounds from Walmart or something." Isn't that where you got them?
We got them at Kmart.
Kmart. They don't even fucking have Kmart no more. Kmart saved our ass. Like, that's another American company. Fucking shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
But not blanks, though, right?
No, live rounds. They don't have blanks at Kmart.
Yeah.
We buy live rounds.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go. So he buys these live rounds, right?
Yeah. So I pay for a box of 20 live rounds out of my pocket. And I'm like, okay. So we get to the friggin' cemetery and I'm like, all right, how are we going to do this? Because blanks, you can kind of mask. Live rounds, you ain't masking if we don't sound right.
No.
So I picked the one dude. I can see that kid's face. I can't think of his name. He was a little Latino kid, dark-skinned kid.
From which platoon?
I can't remember. I think
because we sort of split platoons, didn't we? It was like my platoon. Was it Godoy? We always that dude comes up and we can't find him on Facebook. And I just mentioned these soldiers so that hopefully if someone hears this, they say, "Oh, Godoy, I know him," or
Now this kid's name started with an R. I distinctly remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was the
Shithead.
best one.
That's what his name is. All of his name Shithead. Everybody, your name's Smith. Okay, nice to meet you, Shithead. But go ahead. Yeah. So go ahead.
So I load him up with 4 bullets.
He had 4.
Because I wanted the gun to cycle so that it didn't have an open bolt, so nobody would know that we were bullshitting.
See that redneck shit right there, ladies and gentlemen? I wouldn't have known that. Guess what Noodles would have got? 3 rounds, and that shit wouldn't have cycled. It would have went pop, pop, ka-chunk, right?
Yeah. So we go out there, and the flag, the coffin detail marches this dude out, and this is a black funeral too, by the way.
Oh yeah. No, remember the church, man. It was a good funeral. Don't get me wrong. It was a good funeral, and we did great. I say we were goofing off and stuff, but like the soldiers that did the performing duties, that's the thing about soldiers. Regardless of how much we dig off, and you think when the time comes, we perform.
Funeral detail is the one thing you don't screw up.
Yeah, we didn't. We had jokes, but we didn't mess it up.
But I remember when y'all put the casket down there was people jumping in the damn grave.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
So they finally
in
get
the grave.
That big.
Yeah, they missed him. They were sad he was gone. Yeah. Not soldiers.
If you've never been to a black funeral or a black church, it's an experience you need
to
do once in your life.
Especially down south, like that's how I got into it. Like I remember when I worked for Xerox, there was certain church Keisha was like, "Yo, that church is gonna be a different experience." But I used to sell them copiers. And I got to meet the preacher and all them first, the people who dealt with the money off. So they were always cool when they invited me to church, But me, I get along with everybody. They thought it was cute. Them old ladies when I go to church, "Oh, Mr. Jason, Mr. Joey, I'll come to church again." No, I got that contract. Had to go on to the next church about that signature. But we did the funeral, and then
we did the funeral, and when it come time to shoot, it was only one boo with a gun. Everybody else was faking the fun.
Right, everybody else was faking. So you got 7 people. Everybody's supposed to be firing around, right? 3 volleys of 7. Isn't that right? 3 volleys of 7. Look at that military talk. 3 volleys of 7.
But normally,
normally it's blanks when we're out. Everywhere it's blanks. Yeah. When we're out here, because you're out here in you're at
you're in the middle of town.
Yeah, you're like you could be at Pastor Timothy's church. You know what I mean? Burying some soldier. It doesn't matter what. It's not like at like, go ahead.
And live rounds are louder than blanks.
Oh yeah, there's a big
All right, so
difference.
that's
Huge
why
difference between live rounds. Yeah.
One was worth it. The one covered all.
Oh yeah, one covered all of it. Yeah, it's so loud. Like
yeah. One covered all of it plus some.
Yeah, but we knew, no one else knew, and I'm sure anybody that heard it that weren't in on the end thought it sounded amazing, because a lot of time you'll hear popcorn, like, a volley will go bang, but like if they're not all on. And you got 7 fucking Joker soldiers, especially one of them that leaves all the rounds in his beret back at the CQ desk. Shit like that happens. You hear this 3 times instead of bang, 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 when all 7 of them are supposed to be on. So that's that. So the when they were loud, it was like, cut out, cut out, cut out. Yeah, it was real. You know what I mean? And then we got the fuck out of there, didn't we?
Yeah, it sounded beautiful. When it was over, that old dude, I'll never forget him. He come up, he shook my hand. He goes, Sergeant, that was the best fire in detail I ever heard. That shit sounded real.
It was.
Yeah, I said, we try to make sure that we respect the deceased. And I looked at everybody, I'm like, get the fucking
we had no idea where those rounds were coming down. Them soldiers we had firing, they didn't know if they could hit shit anyways. Now, nevertheless, shooting in the middle of town like that.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Now we're at Fort Bragg watching the news, making sure there wasn't a killing in Lumberton.
Right. Well, I wasn't. I ended up being somehow I got snaked into going to the beach. Remember, I ended up in a ditch.
Yeah.
And the old lady cutting her yard. I think I told that story before. That was after that. Remember? The old lady was calling the CQ, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man. And Billy was getting trapped in it, too. That's why I wanted him to come on. That was a fun story. But yeah, we shot live rounds down there. Like totally. And it was good.
Hey, and everybody said it was the best funeral they had ever heard.
Yeah, I think they had like a party afterwards, right? Like food. They invited it was slamming, dude. Like that was the kind of shit you don't know goes on. Yeah, we had these, and guys like us were in charge of that. We had like these 18 passenger vans full of soldiers. Like we were in strange foreign lands. Like, but we went to a bar, did karaoke or something, did we? Like, like, who got naked? It wasn't me. Was it Billy? Ooh, who would say his name?
Joyner?
Yeah, it was one of those cats. Yeah, it was one of the younger kids. Like we're in the hotel bar. Like, no, it was Billy. Or was it me? We were doing karaoke. It had to been Billy. No, I can't remember. One of us turned around. The other one was naked doing karaoke at this bar. And that's how we knew it was time to leave. And I think you guys had already went back to Bragg. It was that late. Do you remember? It was like a Holiday Inn and they had a bar in the basement. We were done.
I remember the story.
Yeah, I
had already grabbed up everybody that.
Yeah, everybody that didn't want to be part of that nonsense. Yeah, that's how it was. And Barnes was good for that. It wasn't like, oh, you guys, look, man, y'all NCOs handle your business. You know what I mean? He knew he was about to get it in. We got it in. I ended up telling him I got caught in a ditch.
Y'all were grown ass men, I ain't your babysitter.
We just didn't act like it, bro. It was crazy that time. Remember, and I ended up running into that girl from home, right? The girl for the volleyball. This girl was from Boonesboro, Maryland. No, not even Boonesboro, Smithsburg, Maryland. Like, hundreds of miles away. She went to some crazy small college to play volleyball. We run into her at a bar. Remember, what was it, Cagney's or one of those bars at Fort Bragg that we went to all the time? Dude, we had a time there, man.
Dude, if my wife knew half the shit we did at Cagney's, I would be.
You didn't do none of it, brother. You were the good one. Tony was the good one.
I was the one that kept everybody out of trouble. Tried to.
100% though, really. He was one of the good ones. Remember, and like he lived next door. So we live in World War II barracks. So they were cinder block buildings, right? And they were building these new ones they called like Starship or something, fucking Millennium Falcon barracks down there. I remember they had all kinds of shit. But we were the last grunts. We were the last anybody moved out of them barracks, right? We didn't have ceiling tiles and shit. Like it was a fucking ghetto. Right?
I was trying to find a picture of you.
Right.
To show my wife. She's like, I remember him, but I can't remember what he looks like. So I was looking through your pictures.
Yeah.
I found a picture of you in BDU pants with no shirt.
With the ceiling falling out. Yeah.
You could see the ceiling falling out. As soon as she saw that picture, she goes, I remember those raggedy ass barracks.
Right. And
with black mold.
There's black mold and shit. I told one woman from a college, she had just got her like a master's or something. Like she invited me to family dinner in Raleigh, North Carolina. I told her I was a lieutenant and all this shit. And one time I brought her back to the barracks, and I wasn't, but everybody in the barracks knew that they were saluting me and shit. Like, hey, what's up? And right on my door, sure as shit. I think it was a specialist. I think it was an E4 maybe. It's a specialist Anderson, specialist Massingale. It's both of us. And I was like, someone needs to change that. And then walked out of the room with the skunk. Yeah, it was a great time, man. We had fun back then. Yeah, it was just paper with Sharpie. Well, like we had the worst, man.
Hey, dude, I used to tell privates about how we lived as young E4s and young E5s.
Yeah.
Because these dudes are living in two rooms.
Yeah, I wanted to hear about this. Yeah, with a bathroom they share, right?
With a bathroom and a kitchenette. And I'm like, man, you motherfuckers don't realize how good you got it. And they're like, these barracks suck. Like, bitch, you ain't never had to live in black mold barracks.
And they don't believe it. Like, and my dad and them probably lived in some harder shit than we lived in, but that shit sucked. That shit they're living in now does not suck. No, that's better than an apartment they can get out here down Northern Virginia. That's fancy ass shit.
Well, we're all getting softer, right?
We are, yeah. Barnes is good. So Barnes, you went from the Army. So what happened? You went as a squad leader to Fort Campbell. Let's get back on track. And then after a squad leader, so you did your time there.
So I showed up, and when I showed up at reception, a buddy of mine who was an E7 in Charlie, 5th RTB, I bumped into him, and he goes, "Hey, man, where are you at?" And I said, "I'm at reception." He goes, "Hey, are you looking for a job?" And I said, "Hell yeah." I said, "Am I going to be working?" Because it was a dude named Pat Schrader, and I liked him. He was a good dude.
Hold on just a second. Pause.
Yep.
Jenny's going to listen to this. We're going to get busted anyways. Yeah. But we should burn incense. Dude, man, like, I'm pissed off. Look, this is a break. This is a commercial break. Fucking Naveed. Fucking, I'm not allowed to smoke in the studio, Barnes. In this one. Yeah, man, like, we got to tell his wife, man. We got to let her know, right? Just tell her. Just be like, yo. Or we can burn incense and just lie.
I'd burn incense and just lie. It'd make things easier on everybody.
She's gonna see it anyway.
She knows karate.
She watches it as soon as I post it. So.
Don't. Like, you got to take
Well, I mean, if she's watching you, you're fucked.
Whole different episode. So anyways, we're going to talk about controlling our women on the next episode. That's probably where we go off the air. But anyways, Bart, so you're at Fort Campbell. You're a squad leader, right? Yeah, so in 101st Airborne Division, another historic unit in the United States Army, jumping out of airplanes, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, so Pat gives me a job as a squad leader for him. And I'm like, cool, I'll work for you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just going to be the 506, and we were going to be the 3rd Battalion of the 506, which, besides Easy Company, which was the Band of Brothers company that you saw on TV,
yeah.
Third of the 506 is the most decorated battalion in the 506,
right?
And we were going to be 3rd of the 506. Well, we
big nuts. Yeah, you're lucky because you'd have had to have bigger balls.
We didn't wind up at 3rd of the 506.
Did y'all have big nuts though? Did you have a lot of guys with big nuts? Okay, as long as you got nuts.
We were handpicked.
Oh.
Every squad leader there was a tab dude.
Right.
All the platoon sergeants were tab dudes. All the first sergeants were tab dudes.
Ranger tabs for you dummies.
Yeah.
That's our public. And that's not dummy is not a derogatory word coming from me. But go ahead.
So they didn't make us 3rd of the 506. They made us 161 Cav. They called us a RISTA unit.
Yeah, RISTA. Like, see, I was that's right when I was retiring. They turned all the LURS detachments into RISTA units, right?
Yeah, they did away with division LURS and put every brigade had a company of LURS.
Right, and then turned that into a RISTA.
Yeah,
company.
So it was one company of dismounted light infantry reconnaissance dudes,
right?
And then they had 2 Cav troops
with
mounted.
Yeah, mounted. All right. Were you in a Cav troop or were you dismounted?
Well, we started out as Charlie Company.
Right. So you involved it all, yeah.
Yeah, and next thing you know, we were a Cav troop. They had us. We went from a blue flag to a red and white flag, which pissed dudes off.
That's going from the infantry to the Cav.
So I went off.
Even the LURS detachments had an infantry guide on, didn't they? Back in the day, but how about, I don't know if did they change that toward the end?
Echo 17
had an infantry flag.
No, they had a Cav flag.
Right, yeah, because when
you say Cav, you mean
cavalry. Yeah.
They still have cavalry?
Yeah. It's one of the way you got the like.
Yeah, but now they drive Bradleys and Humvees, not horses.
Yeah, they don't ride horses anymore. But they used to. Fuckers.
Yeah, but so
Yeah.
I went off with them to Iraq as an E6 on my first deployment.
Right.
And then while I was there, I made the E7 list, and I got a platoon.
Right. As an E6P.
Yeah. So
yeah, which you could have done, Barnes. Like, I know you handled that.
Yeah. So I came back with them, and then I got Pen 7, and we went off to our first Afghanistan deployment, which is the 60 minutes deployment.
Right. Yeah, this dude's on 60 minutes. I didn't tell nobody none of this shit. Number one, because it slips in my mind, man. I was served as superheroes, bro. Like, you met Mouse, and this guy's another one, man. I hope to get more of them on here. But yeah, the 60 minutes, what's the name of the copy you're at or whatever there?
Wilderness.
Yeah, that was the name of it. Like, they did a big thing on it. I'll have to look it up. I'll show it. Is that on your Facebook?
Somewhere? Oh, mine? No.
Yeah. I'll have to send me the link or something, like,
it's offline. 60 minutes combat in Southwest Asia.
There you go.
It'll
so
pop up.
Look it up. Cool. Yeah. So we can that's where we can get some pictures to put on. Yeah. Cool.
Well,
yeah.
While I was there, I made the E8 list.
Right.
And when we came back, I took over the company. So I went from staff sergeant to first sergeant and never left the company.
Right.
And
spray the fucking before breeze. Go ahead.
When I took over as first sergeant, me and the sergeant major, we kind of was bumping heads.
Right.
Because I kept calling us an infantry company, and he kept calling us a cavalry troop.
Right, man. You were a troop, man. Get with it, troop.
Yeah, well, I made a deal with him. I said, hey, if I can get more of my dudes in black cowboy hats, and he was like, you need Stetson. Right. I said, no, black cowboy
hats. Right, yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah, I said, if I can get more of my guys in black cowboy hats than a cav troop, I want my blue fucking flag back.
Right.
And he went, I'll make a deal with you. Friday, we got payday activities.
Payday activities. I love those days.
He goes, if you show up and there's more of you in black Stetsons,
right.
And I'm like, cowboy hats, roger that. He said, I'll walk right back in the battalion and bring your blue guide on back to you. And I was like, so I had to sit down with my dudes, and I'm like, hey,
DPP.
Here's the deal. If we show out, we can fucking get our blue flag back.
Right.
And I was like, if you can't afford a Tractor Supply black cowboy hat with a blue cord on it,
right,
I will buy it for you.
Yeah, DPP, motherfucker. Sometimes you gotta spend your money. Sometimes you got to spend your money.
Jason, you should have seen it.
Yeah.
When we showed up, my whole company
was in cowboy hats. Yeah.
And the sergeant major, he had a fit, dude.
Yeah.
He jumped up on the we were out back, and it was loading docks.
Right.
He jumps up on the loading dock, and he goes, you sorry motherfuckers. I thought he was talking about us.
Right. Yeah. He's like, nah.
And he goes,
look at these dumb grunts.
He goes, I want you to look to your left.
Right.
At Charlie Company.
Right.
He goes, every one of them's in a black hat.
Black hat. You got black hat. Yeah, you had to. Yeah.
He goes, all you cav troops are getting showed up by infantry dudes.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, but yeah, that's cool.
And right there, he said, rest.
Right.
He turned around and walked away, and he went right to his office, and true to his word, he come back with my guide on.
That's what's up, man. That's cool. Like, that's the thing, and it's always like, I mean, even though the infantry is the best, it's always like a competitive rivalry, but it's on the same side. The cavalry, and you got armored, tanks and shit, and you got, I don't even know what else is in. There's other kinds of people in the army, but you know what I mean? They're like this, they're there. They're armying.
Here's the thing: the whole army.
Fucking love them. They're my brothers and sisters and fuckwads like me. But who are they?
Well, here's the whole thing: the whole army is built to support the infantry.
Yeah, you hear that? That's not just coming from me, man. That's coming from somebody else. I try to tell people that, they're like, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, news. I'm like, listen to me. You ain't won the battle till you step foot on your enemy's capital, and you go to their flagpole, and you take their flag down, and you take out Old Glory, and you put her on there, and you put her up to where she belongs. Chang, chang, chang. Then we've won the battle, right? Right?
Yeah. So between the infantry and cavalry, they serve different purposes?
Yeah. They serve certain. Yeah. It's a wholly different person. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Their mission is their mission. a lot of times there's stuff, and I'm totally just giving them my new linen. This is not the way it's written. But, there's a lot of shit the cavalry guys just can't handle. So they get a grunt in there to go ahead and go, do the real hard, detailed killing work and bring them in. And then, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this, man.
Or he can explain it probably.
They used to have, in our unit, they would have a dismounted competition of which we crushed people's souls.
Right, yeah. Really, tried to hurt people.
But then they would have mounted gunnery, which is their bread and butter.
Right.
And we would kick their ass at mounted gunnery because you don't give infantry dudes machine guns and say go shoot.
Right, yeah. No. Yeah, you can't do that. Like, that's all we did. We shot too much.
Yeah, and it used to piss people off because we were as good as they were at what they did, but they couldn't touch us.
No, and it wasn't about it, and it wasn't like it wasn't a skill thing. It was about something that, like with my platoon specifically in my squad, and Fort Bragg was a big impression upon me. I was at that age and being a soldier at that time, and you being one that was my age and my peer that I was, necessarily competing with as far as, this is my skill level. This is what I need to be doing. This is who I need to level off with. And then our leadership, talking about Valson on my side, Valson and Sergeant Hildebrand and all them guys, like that's what molded me in my leadership role. As far as being a soldier and that kind of shit, that came from playing soccer the way I played soccer and my mom not letting me be a shithead in life. And just do your best. And I did my best at being a soldier, and whatever someone that outranked me told me to do, I wanted to do that. So Fort Bragg left a good impression, and definitely you were part of that. And now that I'm thinking about it, Sean Maine visited.
Oh, yeah. Maine's a good kid.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, see, I'm like you. I'm a firm believer. Bragg made me what I was.
Yeah.
So at the end, when I'm the old cat, teaching the young cats.
Right. What hat you wearing? You wearing a deuce? You wearing that fucking choking chicken?
Yeah, I would. When I was a platoon sergeant and a first sergeant, everything that I was teaching them was the shit that Valson,
Chris, right,
JT Taylor,
right, fucking Taylor, golly.
Hey, I bumped into him at Campbell at the leadership academy.
I remember you told me, and listen to me. No, nothing. I don't mean nothing about nothing. I love that. Like, he's an inspiration. It still is a story I like to tell. I for sure thought that dude was gone when I saw you in North Carolina. I thought, man, when we're gonna bring up Taylor, I would figure you would be one to know what happened to him. And thank God he's still around. But he was cool, right? This dude didn't. Naveed, like we used to have remember we called them BDUs, the camouflage, the green camouflage with the green, the brown, the black. Naveed, remember that? The camouflage pattern, like the old woodland stuff. So when you ironed it and pressed it, it turned different shades. Now at Fort Bragg, it's real split and polished when you're in garrison, when you're working, not out in the field. This dude, our first sergeant we're talking about, his top wouldn't match the bottom. Like he'd have like a brand new top, and he'd have what we called cooked whites. They started out brown and green, but they had been pressed and starched and used so much they were almost white. You know what I mean? And in a unit in the Army where pomp and circumstance and spit and polish is so important, this guy got away with it, didn't he, Barnes? He just did it, and he was a stud. No one messed with him. He would literally rip your throat out. Right? Yeah.
I was gonna say he was an old Grenadier Raider Ranger bat.
Yeah, I remember he had like what we call mustard stains. He had two headlights. He had headlights on his jump wings, meaning he had jumped into combat twice. Yeah, like jumped out of an airplane or into combat to kill motherfuckers. Yeah, and he was in charge of us, and and what got me about what I hated about being me back then is I was always smaller than everybody, and like it was almost like look at this weasel. Whenever someone saw me, they're like, oh fuck, look at this weasel. You know what I mean? How'd he get here? He's so small. You know what I mean? So he was kind of a small dude too, but he'd run your dick in the dirt. This guy could run, right?
Okay. He could run like a fucking 10-minute flat.
And he was old, and that's 2 miles. That's 5 minutes. Like, and that's yelling and cussing and his shoes not fitting and probably 2 different socks on and stuff. He didn't give a shit, man. He was cool.
Never forget him.
Hey, but before I forget, his girlfriend or wife back then was hot. I can say it now. Yeah. Back then, yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you though, man. I remember when he was in E7 working at battalion, I was getting ready to go to Ranger school. He came out and did pre-Ranger PT. And now this was when I was running.
Yeah, that was well before I knew. Yeah.
High 10s, low 11s.
Right.
For a 2 mile.
Yeah, you were in shape.
Yeah, me and a couple of buddies, you know, we were getting ready to go together, man. We were fast.
Right.
And the guy who normally did pre-Ranger PT, he was fast, but he wasn't as fast as us, and he knew it.
Right, yeah, so he didn't put you out. He didn't try to test that part of you.
Yeah, so we're running, and Taylor is running us. So he's running, you know, he's on the front left, and it was me beside of him and a kid named Jason Hayes beside of me.
Right.
And I told Hayes, I was like, hey,
don't fucking run
we're going to run this old bastard to death.
No, that's before you knew.
Yeah, this is before I knew.
Yeah, you're a big dummy. I got warned immediately upon arrival at the unit. Do not, because I had a high PT score, but they were like, don't try to run with this dude.
Yeah, dude. So we're running, and we're running probably about a 6:40 pace. You know, we're cruising.
Yeah, but you can still talk a little bit if you got to yell at somebody.
Yeah. Me and Hayes, we were like, hey, we're just going to keep edging forward until we get to our pace.
Right.
Because me and Jason ran together all the time.
Right.
So we're running, and we'd speed up, and he'd speed up with us, and we'd speed up, and he'd speed up with us. Dude, we got down from Devil's Field down to about reception.
Right.
And he looked, I'll never forget it. He looked left at me, and he goes, oh, you motherfuckers want to run.
Right.
And I just looked at him, and I was like, yeah, we'll run.
Nuh-uh. And he'd cuss you like that, man. He'd cuss you to your face like a dog, like, you motherfucker bitch.
Hey.
Like, and cuss words didn't match. You shit fuck.
No, everybody was a wild dick.
Yeah, hey, wild dick, come here, wild. I use that a lot. I still use that, right?
Dude, I'll never forget
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
First Sergeant Taylor, props, dude. I wasn't sure who it was. I knew it was from someone in Alpha Company, but I really wasn't sure if it was a first platoon guy. I thought it was Haywood. Remember Haywood? No. It wasn't Haywood.
Haywood was my squad leader.
Yeah, then he came to third platoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it was, I honestly thought it was Haywood. Yeah, so yeah, it's cool in First Sergeant Taylor. And now I remember, yeah, come here, wild dick.
Dude, that guy took off at reception. We are running as hard as we can run.
Right.
And we already done said the route was all the way down to Riley Road, turn around at the light, and back to Devil's Field.
Right on.
He took off at reception. So, you know, we're already halfway there.
Uh-huh.
By the time we got to Riley, dude, before we even got to, like, Smoke Bomb Hill, he was coming back. And I was like, holy shit. And he goes, I'll see you at Devil's Field.
Oh, my, he was probably mad at you. He's like, hey, dude, he was that guy, dude.
Well, hey,
and that's all.
Make me another drink.
And that's all. That's all mental. Yeah. Take it your time. What are you drinking, by the way?
Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Nice, rare breed. Go ahead, man. Get you some more Gobbler. Wild Gobbler.
Well, all I'm getting is a little bit of sour mix, so I can make me a whiskey.
Nice.
Sour.
That whiskey gets me in trouble. But you're at home. What a good place to drink whiskey. You probably so this is a Friday night for you. Normal Friday night when you're home, because you are at home, right? You're not working. For those people that know, you work states away, and I'll just leave it at that. So you work states away. So when you're not at home, but this is home for you. So Friday night, you normally get your daughter and everybody settled in, and you're just chilling, right?
Well, normally I don't even drink. Normally I just sit around on the couch.
Right.
But
since you're talking, old buddy, we can't drink in person only because of and this is a total lie, but I was gonna say because of COVID. No, but we could drink in person together. We've done it before. But yeah, this is like us drinking, and this is the thing. So now that I remember, I told you Sean Main came. It's the second time he's visited. He came and watched the boy play soccer. I mean, he's great, man. He's got 90-something. You got to touch base on Facebook. That's why I hate giving it so much props to Facebook's been good for this. But he's got 90-something acres in Maine, dude. So right up there by the Canada border. So if you ever decide, hey, I want to take the family and get off grid, he would love to have visitors. They got them baby goats. Right? Baby goats. Yeah.
Baby goats.
Yeah, he's got them baby goats. Like I think his wife sells baby goats. He did real well. He did some work for like scales. I think he did like the calibration of like the big scales and stuff for trucks and all kinds of equipment. That's what he did after the Army. He joined the Guard and got in one of them LURS detachments in Pennsylvania. So there was a LURS D in in the PA Guard. So that's who he deployed with. I think he went to Kosovo or something like that right after he got out, or Bosnia, one of those.
Yeah, you was wondering what I'm drinking. That's what I'm drinking.
Yeah, look at that. Wild turkey rare breed. Now, of course, I'm just drinking Coca-Cola because no self-respecting Southerner would drink a Pepsi, would they, Barnes?
I don't.
Yeah, that's what I tell people that, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Well, that's something people down the South say. They drink Cokes, but Pepsi's from North Carolina." Fucking, who's that? That's a fucking, and people that watch us, that's a skull of some dead motherfucker. Just so you know how we roll. So listen, so we went, and we still haven't got through everything. But you went from, so you did your first. Is that where you retired from? Was as a first sergeant there? Or
no? Well, I was the first sergeant at Campbell, same company that I started out as an E6 in, and then
right, it's something you're not supposed to be able to do either.
Yeah, well, when I made E7, I didn't really bitch about staying there, but when I made E8, I told the brigade sergeant major, I'm like, hey, you need to put me in 1st or 2nd battalion because I've been doing this too long in the same place. And he goes, oh, you're staying because you're the keeper of the institutional knowledge.
Right? Yeah, you're like the fucking Gargamel or whatever. You know shit, man. The old timer. Hey, do you ever touch, before we keep going? Do you ever touch base with H minus?
On Facebook.
Yeah, he's always smoking them stogies, man. I need to get him on here to talk to you. We should have a big thing. The way we can do it, we should have a big thing. We have 4 or 5 of us on here smoking stogies, telling war stories. Not really war stories.
Hey, I'll tell you somebody else who does it too is Big J.
Yeah, man. How's he? You keep, like, you and him are super tight, right?
Yeah, man. There was a time, man. Jay, being him, dude. You don't know how many times we spooned under a poncho liner.
I spooned with H minus, man. That big motherfucker. He's twice my size, dude. And I ain't gonna say, I know his fears. That's all I'm saying. Like, everybody's scared of H minus and blah, blah, me. I'm scared too. I have my fear. But I know his fear. Found it deep in the jungle of Panama.
Big J, man. I told a story about Big J the other day because I was talking to somebody. They were talking about, what did you do to new privates? And I'm like, me and Big J used to bring them in my room. And we had a mop head in my wall locker that had the.
And Barnes wouldn't scare you. Barnes, you look at Barnes, you think, okay, he's a little guy. He's got Napoleon syndrome. Blah. That's your first impression. But followed behind him is a guy everybody knows is Big J, right? This dude, how tall is it? John said, the black dude, like, where's he? Like, bald head, super shiny, Mr. Clean bald head, big airborne ranger, just run. Him and Barnes for like good cop, bad cop. Yeah. That's a bitch move, but yeah.
So the mop.
I'm trying.
Yeah. What happened to this mop?
This kid. Dude. So the mop, we cut like bangs out of it, right?
Yeah.
I don't forgot this kid's name. I can see his face. He was a pretty little motherfucker.
Simback. Simback. No,
it wasn't Simback. It was he was there at the same time as Simback, though.
Right.
I'll think of his name before it's over. But this kid showed up, and me and Big J were sitting on my couch in the room, and me and Contrado, well, it was me and Rodri's room.
Rodri, that dude, he was a Ranger Battalion flunky too, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the Ranger Battalion guys that came to our unit were all fucking cool though. Rodri, dude,
they were all good guys.
All good guys, all solid cats. What was his name?
Murphy.
McMurphy. We had McMurphy. We had a dude, man, from fucking Atlanta. I'm forgetting his name, but I don't, that's just me being stern.
Yeah, but Big J,
he's the one that does work with you. What the fuck's his name? Came with Center at the same time Center did.
Oh, I want to know what happened with the bangs, man.
Oh yeah, what happened with the mop with the bangs? Tell him, because you're gonna did some weird shit.
So,
go ahead. It didn't go.
So me and Big J are sitting there, and I'm looking at this kid. He's standing at prayer rest. And me and Big J are sitting on the couch. Right. And I could tell he was mentally weak.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. And you guys didn't help him.
No, I was like, kid, we're gonna have to toughen you up because I can tell you soft as baby shit.
Right, soft as baby shit. Go ahead.
I looked at Jay and I was like, Jay, get the mop head out. And we kept it in my wall locker. So he walked over to my wall locker. Jay's is big.
He's huge, dude. Like no neck. It was shoulders to ears. Like that.
He's like 6'2", like 230 pounds. And he snatches his mop head up and stuffs it on this kid's head. and he takes a tube of lipstick and holds it like a damn knife in reverse grip, and he just draws a clown mouth around his kid's lips.
Reverse grip.
Yeah, you can't do shit like that no more,
No,
man.
you
You would
can't.
get in trouble.
Hey, dude, immediately this kid just starts fucking snot bubble crying.
Nah. See, I'm
And
glad
I
I
was like-
didn't know.
He
And I
thought,
was like,
he
see,
thought something
man, I
was
said,
gonna
I knew
happen.
you was going to be fucking weak.
Right, yeah, just stop. This ain't even no fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We fucked
Hey,
with a
but
lot of people like that.
The funny thing was, that was when Bliss just comes walking
Oh,
into
I
my
remember
room.
him too, yeah.
Well, he was first sergeant then.
Yeah.
He was after Taylor.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he looks at me, he looks at Jay, and he looks at this kid and he goes, Barnes, I don't even want to fucking know. Get that mop head off that kid's face, clean his fucking face, meet me in the fucking first sergeant's office. And I'm like, fuck.
Gave a motherfucker a chance to be hard, man. Like that, remember? And then we had that one guy that was 11 Charlie. So this is how stupid infantrymen are. So you have 11 Bravos who are just a regular rifleman. You know what I mean? Carry your rifle, you got your fucking knife, and that's you, and some rounds. That's me. And then you have 11 Charlies. These are the guys that have like mortars, the big, they drop a load, they carry it. Now, these motherfuckers carry more shit than anybody. They carry this big base plate. They have a team. They carry the tube and everything, and the rounds. And so they shoot, indirect fire.
Well, we carried the fucking round.
Yeah, well, yeah, I never carried that
But
shit.
you can't do that anymore.
No, I mean that's still how they do it. And then they have 11.
The mop stuff.
What? No, fuck no, you can't do it. It's too
No, you go to fucking jail.
jail for that. Are you kidding? Like I'm like that. The only reason why me and him can talk about it is I'm way far. He's far enough detached from it that he can't get in trouble with you.
Don't you think those
even
types
speak.
of things
They-
create that bond?
They build camaraderie like a
Right?
motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Remember qualifying?
Oh, fuck
So
yeah.
we have a
Hey,
thing
hey,
called
you remember my
koala.
room? Hey, do you remember my room before I moved upstairs? The one that was downstairs across from the first sergeant's office, the one that was painted completely
Yeah.
fucking black.
Yeah, he had a black room. But we had to, like, you couldn't do that in normal barracks. But our shit was so old and tore down. They let us do what the fuck we wanted, man. Except for 3rd Platoon. We got inspected and shit by our platoon sergeant. One time he'd get a hair in his ass. We're like, all right, motherfuckers, we got. And he came from drill sergeant. He was a drill sergeant, so he came from basic training. Plus, he didn't have a ranger tab. Everybody had a ranger tab. So he never said it, and he didn't act like it. He was just hard as woodpecker lips. But in the minds of the soldiers, I think they thought he had something to prove all the time, right? Like, Sergeant
Well,
V
see,
was always shot.
Valson was like Lucero. Neither one of them had a tab. Neither
Yeah.
did Bliss.
And
but
you
they were
shouldn't
hard
fuck
ODs.
with any. I dare you to fuck with any one of them. Valson would just fucking murder you. He hit me in the head with that damn trash can. It was a steel trash can. He hit me in the head with this. So, and not because I did anything, because one of my soldiers fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, so we had the CP. All it was a barracks room. They knocked the walls out and pushed desks in and said, okay, this is where they work. So that was right across from our room. Remember when the CP was right across from our rooms? So I'd go in there, and one time, I forget who did what. He said, shut that door. And once he said shut the door, I knew I was going to get in trouble. And he shut the door, and the lieutenant was in there. Normally, the lieutenant would leave, but it was him. And it was basically like this, Navid. His desk faced the lieutenant's, and the lieutenant faced his, and he was the platoon sergeant. So I was sort of standing right here where the desks joined together. And he had his trash can right there. He took it with his left hand. He took it, and I forget what. And I'm standing there at parade rest, my hands behind my back, doing like this. And he said, blah, 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 Andy. He used to call me Andy, like they called my dad that. You know what I mean? He took that fucking trash can and went just like this. It didn't even get off his chair. It just scooched a little bit. It was a little steel rolly chair. And boom, like that, right? And it's steel trash can. Like the 13-incher. I remember the nomenclature and the fucking shit for this trash can. I feared them my whole Army career after this. He took that thing one-handed. It amazed me that he grabbed the lip of it one-handed and was able just to move his arm like that. There was no stand up. There was no bend down. There was no... He just grabbed it. Boom, boom, like that. Ding me. He's like, you fucking shithead. Get out of here. Just like that, man. And we took it, right? Someone would get thrown in jail. They'd be all over the internet. Someone would have called their mom, and their mom would call their congressman. Like that. That's like, is it as bad as I'm making it sound, do you think?
No, dude, that's the way it was.
Yeah?
Dude, do you remember when First Sergeant Taylor threw the fucking CQ desk out the front door?
Yeah, man. Like, I was getting in trouble when we lost night vision goggles. We did, something happened to some night vision. We were on a training, and we,
Fucking
the
Del
knives.
Wiki.
Huh?
fucking Still Wiki lost that motherfucker in the laundry room.
See, I knew it would come out. Still Wiki, wherever you're at, motherfucker.
How do you lose night vision?
You just lose them, and they're like the 4,000. Listen. So listen, let's put this into perspective for the people, not just me and Barnes telling stories. So listen, we left millions and billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of shit, and I'm including night vision goggles in that rack of shit that fucking Siddiqui's over there running around with. Just hey, what's up, guys? Bang bang. So listen, we left that shit there. One pair of night vision goggles. We were getting ready to go on leave or something, weren't we? Once we got out of the field.
We were going to go to the field for fucking 5 days, come back, go on block leave.
Block leave. That's where everybody gets to go home for Christmas and shit.
Like I was getting married. Rollins was getting married.
Some shit was going on. Yeah, and it stopped, right? We couldn't do it.
No, dude, that motherfucker lost that shit right before we were going to the field.
Before we even left, they locked us down. They put
one.
Huh? One set. One set. Yeah, we couldn't do this. So they spent hundreds of thousands probably just for this training exercise going on, but they stopped us from going, right? Yeah, and I'm not bullshitting. They we were out. So World War II barracks are these 3-story, 4-story buildings, right? Stacked rows upon rows. You've seen them probably in movies. And then in between was like gravel areas for formations and then a little bit of grass. They put barbed wire around the front of our building and around that gravel area, right? So
and that's where the fuck we stayed.
We had to stay there until we found it. And how long were we there? Because I really don't. I thought it was days.
We stayed there all week.
I stayed there for a week. Week and a half. It was a long. I knew it was days, but I didn't know how many days.
Yeah, it was about a week and a half. Dang. Because we
we were supposed to have been to the field and back and gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but so they remember the news came and shit, right?
Yeah, because somebody's wife came up and was like, hey, you got 30 minutes to get that wire out from around them boys, or I'm bringing,
wives came on post. Yeah, they said they're going to call the news.
Well, that was back when it was an open post, man. That was before 9/11.
You used to be able to just drive on to Fort Bragg, man. America's fucking guard of honor sitting there, sitting ducks. You could drive your fucking car right up to the front of all these killers and blow it up.
Yeah, that was a shit show.
Shit show. So we get locked into this thing in the barracks. Picture this, and all of us are grunts, and all of us are ready. So we were kind of prepared to sleep there. We had like food and stuff. Remember, we were making those monkey fists out of like the climbing rope. So there's a knot. We were beating the fuck out of each other. Like we couldn't find nothing to do, so we were just fighting. Like people were getting so upset. I remember we had like a meeting in a church or something, so everybody had to go to church, and they had like wives show up. So if you're married, your wife could show up.
But you guys had to look for it, right? Like
no, fuck no. We stayed right there, right? Who went and looked for him? Who looked for him? That was after we looked, right?
What? Yeah, we looked everywhere. Everybody else was in the field.
Yeah, they had already left to go to the field. We hadn't even left yet. We hadn't even gone to training. We did not even leave our house, basically.
That was your
dude. They brought them back.
Yeah.
And then you would have to come in and write on a piece of paper. I know nothing. I know something.
Yeah, they did all kinds of fucking crazy shit for one pair of night vision goggles, and they had the news. They had all kinds of, and they had us sleeping out. They wouldn't let us go in there. We could go in to use the bathroom or whatever, but we couldn't go in and shit. Like we were literally outside of our house, sleeping in the yard.
Literally we were beside the chow hall, and they would mermite fucking chow.
Oh yeah, they bring us the same food we'd eat out in the field. They brought it to us instead of letting us eat at the chow hall or bringing the chow hall. But yeah, it was crazy. But it was like, and we never did find them.
Nope.
Just let us go.
You know what broke that up, don't you?
What? Someone probably called their congressman.
Rollins' wife.
Rollins, that mug. He's cool now. Yeah, he's funny.
He's down there next to Charlotte somewhere selling used cars.
Yeah, we gotta go find him. He's got a family. He's wearing glasses.
But his wife was related to Jesse Helms, who at the time was the head of the Armed Forces Service Committee.
Yeah, and they got these killers out there laying in rock.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He was going to miss his wedding, and he had $10,000 in fucking flowers wrapped up in his shit.
Yeah, man. There's some crazy people we're in the Army with.
And I'm going to tell you, when Jesse Helms...
redneck as shit.
Yeah, Jesse Helms got involved in it, and that's why we got out of it.
They wrapped up that wire. Well, what were they gonna do with us? They never did shit these nods. It was a loss. But then that's how they treat us. But then we're over there like imagine what that does to your psyche if you're a soldier now, And you've spent hours upon hours just making sure this equipment was secure and serviceable and maintained and out of the enemy's hands. Like years of this now. That's been going on, and now in a flip of a button, we just drop it.
Well, didn't they destroy it on their way out?
It does
as much as they could.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what the news said, but I tell you, I saw
What did he say?
He said, didn't they destroy it on the way out? But my take on that, Barnes, give me my take. Let me give you one quick take, and then you go because Barnes is about to go in on this. My take was I saw a Black Hawk flying around with a guy stabo rigged to it. That was their guy flying around like this saying, hey, we got their shit. Everybody thinks it was a dead guy or something. No, it was
it wasn't a dead guy.
The fucking Taliban going around like this. Look, we got their shit. And one of their dudes flying our helicopter. So as far as it be...
He was trying to put a fucking flag up.
There you go. Trying to put a flag up. Like, and they're such skilled pilots, they're going to fucking stable rig this guy to it. And
I was going to say, the pilot sucked and he kept fucking missing the pole.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that pilot that flew that Black Hawk is a better Black Hawk pilot than me. He knows how to fly it better than me. So the people that believe that something went down that we've... Like, and I'm noticing they're, like, sort of turning that. So we're going to talk serious. Go ahead, Naveed's got something to say. Watch this.
No, when I saw whatever clips I see, right?
Yeah. In normal news.
A cockpit, just a normal commercial cockpit looks complicated.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what a helicopter.
Oh, yeah, military helicopter for that matter. And the size and the power, yeah.
How somebody who doesn't know how to
We trained them, Naveed. Right, Barnes? We've spent 20 years training them to, like we've done in every other country we've occupied. We spend the time to train them. And when we're done training them, we leave. Look at Germany. There's other examples.
Everybody we've trained in the past 40 years, we wound up having to go back in and fucking fight.
Right, yeah. So
and I'm going to tell you, we were training them because when I've been contracting since 2013.
Right.
And when I was in
we were going to get to that. That's what you did after the Army. You went into civilian contracting for what kind of company would we call it? A security company? Private security company?
But private military security company.
Private military security. And you provide security for like diplomats and stuff like that. They hire through your company and you guys send guys over. Just wanted to get that out there. Go ahead, Navi.
But you trained the Afghan military,
Afghani army, the ANA, right?
Yeah, they're sad puppies.
Yeah, and listen to me. Let's be like me and Barnes talking. Like, hey, they're sad. Them fuckers are ate up. They suck, man. That's a fucking shitty deal. We also got to take into consideration where they come from, how, they're not Americans that we're training. Yeah. They're not American soldiers. And when people get it real conflicted when they think, oh, well, you spent 20 years training them. We spent 20 years training them and we weren't finished the job yet. If we were finished the job, then it would have been okay.
Yeah. But these aren't the guys that we see today are quote unquote Taliban.
Yeah, or ANA 6 days ago or whatever, whenever they decide to switch, right? Is that what's your take on that, Barnes?
Yeah,
I believe in their culture. It's not that they've quit; they just tend to go towards whichever side's not going to get them killed, them or their family
killed.
You go.
So I'll go back to the original conversation.
Yeah,
so I left Campbell. I was deployed. Wound up on orders to go to Fort Jackson. Wound up as a basic training first sergeant at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Yes.
That's what caused me to retire.
And that's what made him retire. All these new kids that they were having to train to be soldiers. He had enough.
Getting into Afghanistan, I retired, went to work for a training company that will remain nameless.
Right.
But
Garrett. Garrett. That's the guy, other Ranger Battalion guy I was thinking of. Garrett. Thomas Garrett.
And, hey, I'll come back to him because I worked with him in Iraq.
Yeah. That's what I'm just saying. Like, that's the dude. Like, he was another fucking awesome dude that came from Ranger Battalion. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the type it was cool. Well-trained soldiers.
I went to work for this training company, and I trained in the States for about a year and a half, training dudes. And then they were like, hey, we want you to go to Afghanistan and do a rotation, which was 105 days on, and then you come back and teach stateside.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it wound up. There were several of us that were willing to go, so we wound up in Afghanistan fucking most of the year.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that bad.
No, dude, I didn't
like it, didn't you? You
got
to play with all your toys, didn't you, Barnes? Talk to me.
I got paid, and it allowed me to have a lifestyle I got now.
Did you have guns? Did you carry a gun with you?
Yeah. Oh, we were armed. I mean, we run around the the place we were at with
That's how you pump up
Glock
these
19s.
Yeah, well,
and
cool.
then we had M4s and saws and 240s and everything else
At your disposal.
I'll
what you
get
got
to that
right now? You holding anything right now, just in case? What if a gook comes through the wire? Look at this. Just in case. Like, that's another thing too that's important about this show is we fuck around, man. But one thing I'm here to talk about too, and always look, there's another one. I like that scope. Is that there is a whole underlying like thing out there, Navi, that you would like, that it's mostly made up of veterans and guys that served the military a certain way, and after their service was done, they live their life a certain way. And that includes how they talk to people, who they even associate with, how they live their life, how they secure their home and their family, about weapons and what they feel about that. And they do it all legally within the rights, within their, in the guise of whichever they live. But these are a group of guys that are connected and that are networked, and it's not an issue. And when shit hits the fan, this side of the pond, if it ever does, watch out for this group of guys. You know what I mean? I feel blessed, Tony, that I seem to know 4 or 5, 6, maybe even a whole handful that are involved in the same thing and think the same way. Enough so that I don't feel like I need to get into none of that. You know what I mean? I honestly feel like
I'm gonna drive to Maryland. I'm gonna pick you. And
we're coming straight to you, Bart. He's one of the guys I'm running to. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like honestly, you know what I mean? Like that's one of the things, the value of knowing people and knowing that, but also sharing that also in the fact that, hey, why? Okay, Noodles, you go around and you feel this and that, and you're so crazy and this and that, but you're not worried about these people. No, and like even Navid's asked me, are you ever worried about? No, I'm not worried about nobody doing nothing over here. I'm not worried about them. Am I saying they won't? Hell no, that's not what I said. I said I'm not fucking worried about them. Guess what? You and yours may be. Fortunate for me and mine, I'm not. They can be. My family can fear everything in this world because I'm here to protect them, Barnes. And I feel that way about you. And I feel like, Navid is the same thing. Certain people are about that, and not and thank God that certain people are still that way, because of that, not everybody has to. You know what I mean? Not everybody has to be a warrior. You know what I mean? And we joke about those people in the army, but those people are so fucking important.
Yeah.
To what the warriors do.
That's like I tell people all the time. I'm like, that's like when I talk to my buddies, they're like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, dude, don't get
want
into that.
For that. No.
I'm like, you think you want that until you have to fucking live it. I said, but once you live it, you're going to see shit you can never unsee, and you're going to have to do shit you can never undo.
Yeah.
You're hearing it. But knowing that you can live that way, Barnes, is magical.
Yeah, and see that my cousin, she's got a doctorate in psychology or psychology, whatever.
It starts with a P, but it sounds like an S, right?
I heard soccer.
Not infantry shit.
I heard soccerology.
Right, yeah. Socrates.
But she told me straight up, she goes, hey, you're a passive aggressive sociopath. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? And she goes, you're crazy and you don't mind doing what you do. She goes, but for some reason you got a moral checklist that you have to check off before you do bad things.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be your friend. I wouldn't love you the way I do, Barnes, if it wasn't for that. And that's the thing about anybody I think I talk about here. That I say, there's that moral. I even have, believe it or not, y'all, I have a moral checklist myself.
I know,
there's
but
certain things.
What he was saying was up until the last part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But then to add the moral checklist, which means you're sane. Like there's nothing.
Well,
wrong
no,
with, nothing wrong
you're
with that.
crazy because you could absolutely lose that moral checklist. That's the fear. That's what they fear. They fear that, and they should fear that. If Barnes ever lost his moral checklist, get the fuck out of here for the road rage.
But the difference, but the difference,
you know what I mean?
The difference is the training and the conditioning and the experience.
Yeah, some of that. No. I think it's Barnes was a solid dude when he was a fucking private. That's the thing that people say, oh, Noodles is the way he is because that time he spent in the military. No. My mom, my dad made me a fucking pretty cool little dude when I left. The Army gave me an avenue to where being that way, I could still succeed. You know what I mean? Whereas being a little aloof and a little crazy if I didn't have the right leadership, if people didn't see through that and know that, hey, I was going to get it fucking done regardless if I act like a nut or if I act all fucking prim and proper, thank God for those leaders ahead of me that allowed me to do that. That's where the value is. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I'm saying, man. The guys we had when we were young, the Valsons, the Blisses, the J.P. Taylors,
right.
All those guys, they instilled in us, hey, you need to be that guy that can turn it on and do horrible fucking things.
Right. And talk like, and it was like, fucking. H minus used to make it so crazy. Like, I'd have to check myself sometimes. I'd be like, yo, man, he's making me believe this shit I'm screaming when I'm running down the road about chopping people's heads off and shit and stacking bodies and stuff. But it was for a reason. It was all well placed. And he's one of the sweetest, fucking, most amazing men on the planet now. Like, I love it that Molly gets to follow him on Facebook. And I always mention Facebook. And just see what he's putting out so much good stuff into the earth, and it has nothing to do with killing commies for mommy. And he taught me all I know about that. Yeah.
But see, that's the thing though, man. Those guys taught us you can turn it on and you can turn it off. You need it sometimes, and then when you don't need it no more, you put the monster back in the fucking cage. And it stays there until you need to let it back out.
And you know what, Barnes, this hits close to home, brother. Like, and I've had an issue with this the last week, and I've been a little off, man. I'm finding real difficulty, just because I know there's real struggle in Afghanistan as we speak right now, and I know that there's Americans hurting, and that's what got me. People that say, hey, Noodles, why'd you go to Standing Rock? I didn't go to Standing Rock over no fucking dirty water or no fucking pipeline. I went to Standing Rock because I saw on our news, I saw an American, a woman. She just happened to be Native American, but I saw an American citizen, Native American woman, get blasted with a water cannon. And I said, not on my watch, not in my fucking country. And it hurt my heart beyond anything ever in my life. And Molly looked at me and she said, Jay, you got to go, man.
Yeah, it's about fucking principles, man.
Yeah, and I know, like, and that's what's hurt me, and I've had trouble dealing with it. It's funny, like, not funny, but, like, people say, oh, this and that, unseen damage. My head gets a little squirrely, man. I can't handle knowing that Americans are in harm's way and we're not doing the best for them. I know that war, we lose lives and stuff like that, and that's part of it. But when I feel like we could have had something to do with someone's pain, like in Standing Rock, there's no reason why an American shouldn't stood up and said, no, you can't shoot her with that water. And if they'd done that, I would have never went to North Dakota or South Dakota. So knowing that that's going on, that's really troubled me. And sometimes I spend too much time thinking about it, but thank God for my Army buddies that keep me in check. But that's where I lose it a little bit, man. It pains me and it makes me real angry. It makes me want to hurt shit and that is where I feel like I'm out of control of that switch now. Whereas before I was trained and that switch was in check, Barnes. It's like I told people, I know when to fuck around, man. I was a king at getting not fuck around. You know what I mean? I could fuck around until the wrong person was in there and they were strapped up and I was ready. You know what I mean? I'd get other people in trouble.
Well, we were trained that, there's right and there's wrong. Period.
Right. Yeah. And then you go about what you're doing. Make sure you're doing the right thing first. Make sure it's right.
And, that's like I watched.
And you can question authority. Like that Marine that stood up and said, fuck this shit. Yeah, I don't have faith in your leadership. Absolutely. Every soldier, every sailor, every Marine can do that.
If more leaders in the military would stand up and do that today, we'd be a lot better off. But the problem is they're all fucking politicians now, bootlick motherfuckers that are just, looking for the next job.
It looks like that. And my thing is, like, this is how politics, and you say, oh, well, I don't understand. You're right. I don't understand politics. It's not on my level. And I don't understand generals and that type of military leadership. I was never on that level, so I can't give you a personal insight into that. But my personal insight can give you this, that I remember do you remember when I was NCO of the quarter for the 82nd Airborne Division and Colonel Petraeus, right? Remember, he was Colonel Petraeus, signed that award or whatever they gave me, man. And in saying that, you know what I mean? He went on to be this 4-star general, and I was E5 when he signed that, and I retired at E6, but whatever. They got him over what he did. And I don't know if he did right or wrong, but if we were just judging him on what kind of soldier and leader he was, man, our country needs more of them still, right? Am I wrong with that?
I mean, they bagged him because he was banging some chick other than his wife. And while I don't particularly
right, I can't agree with that. I can't.
That's not my business.
That's not,
but, you know, but here's my thing. The chick that he shared his secrets with was a fucking major in the United States Army with a top secret clearance. That bitch didn't see nothing. She didn't have clearance.
Right. It was, then people don't understand that. And you're like, oh, he wasn't on that. It's just crazy. He was the first canceled motherfucker out there.
I'll tell you why he got
because he wasn't a politician. He's a soldier.
Because he wouldn't toe the party line.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And unfortunate because I think that's what we need more of, especially now with what's going on. Because he wrote the manual on counterinsurgency.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He irritated the fuck out of me when he was our brigade commander. That devil button and devil grip bullshit.
Right. Hey, no, and there you just brought it up. Go ahead. That was irritating, right? But what did you see? And this is something I noticed. And then when I saw the news pictures from Afghanistan, when they showed the Taliban standing there in the office,
look
and they
at how
had
many straight trigger fingers you fucking.
How many white devil grips did you see, man? Like that, and like people don't understand. That's fucking pisses me off. That's fucking reason for me to go hurt someone, man.
What's
you don't realize
it's how you hold your weapon. Like if you look at those pictures if they're standing there, I don't know whose fucking desk it was. I guess it was the prime minister of Afghanistan or president, whatever they got over there, had over there. His desk when they went to the Capitol.
Yeah,
they're all standing. If you look at how they're holding have their finger pointed straight ahead, and why you do that is so that you don't accidentally discharge a weapon. No other service trains like it. No one other. It is so. We were taught that when we got to Fort Bragg. I was never taught that early on as a soldier. I was taught that when I got to the 82nd Airborne Division. That was known as the White Devil Grip. So
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, my wife.
Yeah, she probably has a White Devil Grip, right?
She does.
Yep, and your daughter.
And my daughter. And it's funny because we'll look at all these pictures coming out of Afghanistan.
Right.
And I've spent years in Afghanistan, man.
They know where they're at.
It breaks my heart to see it. But it's funny because, we'll be watching the news and she'll be like, look at all those straight trigger fingers. That means you train your guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? You said it breaks your heart.
Because we trained them. They were trained by us. No one else trains people to carry their weapon like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, everybody trains trigger discipline and be aware of where you're triggered, but not that particular manner. And that's anybody that served with us. Yeah.
Everybody you see with a straight trigger finger was trained by allied nations.
Yeah, for 100%. Now, but back in the day, that was just us. We'd go around places and people wouldn't have their finger like that.
Well,
I remember like PLDC remember PLDC is that it? That's not even a fucking school no more in the Army.
No, now it's WLC.
Yeah. Well, we had PLDC and I remember these fucking pogues. I love saying that. These pogues and leg motherfucking scruffy sons of bitches had they just carried their shit however they wanted to.
Dirty, nasty finger on the trigger, using it.
Yeah, and dirty, nasty pencil pushing legs. Anyway, so you go from there, and now you're home in North Carolina. You've been working for this company for a long time, right? So you're just an American.
I've been working for this company since 2017.
Right. So you got 4 years in this company.
Yeah. So I started out training at the schoolhouse, and then we thought we'd done trained ourselves out of a job. So I wound up going overseas to Iraq, and I was training Kurds.
Right, and my interpreter, Marwan, I speak on him. He was a Kurd. There's some them dudes are about it, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I love the guys that I was working with were called Zervani. They were like Kurdish Department of Homeland Security dudes.
Right.
But dude, I used to run the roads with them, dude. We would go all over Iraq.
And they were cool.
I've been in fucking Mosul with them. I've been in Solmania, Dahuk. I've been all over Iraq with these guys, and I loved them. But eventually, my wife was like, "Hey, man, I ain't telling you got to quit. I'm just gonna tell you I'm tired of being a single mom."
And I'm like, you're sending home pictures of you smiling, like you can't.
I'm sending home pictures of me. Look
at me and my homeboy. Like we've been partying for years now. Yeah. I'll tell you all about it when I get home for the week. I'm home. Yeah.
I'm sending her pictures.
Hey, just so your old lady knows, I have taken like the old lady side from the jump on all of my old relationships with soldiers. Like normally it melts into okay, even Steven, but right at the jump I got to take the wife or girlfriend's old lady side. Because we were some fucking shit back in the day. Anybody that dealt with us when we were fucking younger is absolutely a motherfucking saint. Like a saint, and like American hero. Not the heroes don't serve. The heroes are at home that put up with the knuckleheads before they left. Yeah, for sure.
I'm telling you, man. When my wife met me, all I had was fucking potential. I had like a 385 credit score. You know, I was living paycheck to paycheck.
What? Or you're not now?
I met my wife, and now, you know, I live comfortably. And I've got like an 815, 820 fucking credit score.
Oh, and that's what it's about, dude.
And hey, dude, I give all the credit to my wife.
Yeah, and you should, man. I give all the credit to my wife, to Molly, and like my mom, like my mom gave me like my spirit and like my code and everything. My dad gave me the support, like the you know what I mean? Like I never knew when mom was gonna let me wild out and she'd be drifting off with me, but dad was always there. Dad was the rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And you know, man, when I look back on it, I look back at all this crazy shit I've done in the military.
Right.
And I look at it and I think, you know, all the shit I did is because I wanted to fucking make my mom and dad proud.
Yeah, or not let them down. That was my big thing. Was like I didn't really look for pride from people. I just didn't want people to think I sucked at shit. You know what I mean? Like so, when I did the army, I didn't want to think I was a shitty soldier. I didn't do bad at things in my life, and I didn't want to start when I joined the army. I think. Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
I mean, when I was a kid, dude, we were so poor. I used to have to hunt to put meat on the fucking table. My dad worked 2 jobs. My mom worked.
Right.
I was a latchkey kid.
Yeah, and your daughter doesn't believe it.
Yeah, you know.
Your daughter, my kids don't believe it about me either, bro.
Yeah, you know, I worked so hard for my daughter so that she never had to endure what I had to endure.
We do. But that's what's good about us. Go ahead.
But you know, looking back on it, you know, it made me who I was, who I am now.
That's the irony.
Yeah. And guess what? So this is what puts it on you, the onus on you. Guess what? When you take the struggle away, when you take the hardship away, how you have to replace that. If that's a requirement, listen to me. If we're going to use that as a measuring stick and we're going to say, hey, it's required for you to go through some shit to be somebody one day. If we don't replace the shit for them to go through, then whose fault is it? Is it them? Because I have a real problem with like work ethic now and stuff. When I look at young people, and I'm not judging, I'm not being judgmental, but I look at all the people hurting for jobs, all the people hurting for employees, should I say. I'm gonna go out here and put it on a limb, and it's not on a limb because people will jump on this too. Like the service industry is hurting. We've gone out to eat a bunch lately, and it sucks. And it's not. I think it's because they don't have enough people. Yeah. There's not people working. If you're expecting to get good service, like we went to a nice restaurant last night even, and the service wasn't par for the usual. It was good and decent, but it wasn't like you would expect when you're paying, $40 a plate or whatever stupid like that we did because we were celebrating my dad.
I went to my brother's father-in-law's father.
Right, that dude.
In Oregon, right?
Yeah. You went to Oregon?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And we went into the backyard, right? Like at his house.
Right.
And it was like just cluttered with stuff.
Oh, he lived down in the county.
Old cans and stuff like that, right? So I ended up asking him, why do you keep all this stuff?
Right.
And it turns out he said he grew up in the Depression.
Oh, yeah.
And so you never knew when you needed something.
Yeah,
man. And then you look at us today, right?
Right.
We just throw away whatever we got. Just replace it.
Extra shit. Depression era motherfuckers would take the bottom of what I have in my Coke and put it in a jug to make a whole full Coke one day.
Us as parents, our desire to make our children's life easier so that they don't have to go through what we go through.
Right.
We're actually making them softer.
I think, but then I see kids, and then I see your kids. I think they're taking advantage of us making them soft, and our kids are more educated. Our kids are a lot more polite. Our kids are a lot more mature at 15. They're not doing the crazy shit I was doing at 15. That's what I have to use as a measuring stick. You know what I mean? They're not. It could be if if my kids were allowed to run like I was at 14 and 15, like I would be so scared they'd be in jail, hit by a car, into drugs, and like real easily,
Well,
and not for fault of anybody, because I don't want it for them. I don't want none of that stuff. But it would be so easy. Whereas when I was 15 years old, I promise you, I could not. But yeah, crazy bad shit. But I couldn't go find you some pills. I couldn't go find you meth. I could maybe go get you some weed or some alcohol or some cigarettes.
Yeah.
I could go get, because we weren't 16, I could get you a pack of cigarettes, and I was that kind of baller. Maybe some weed, but nothing like these kids. I can guarantee you right now, if Holden wanted to, he could get on the internet and click through friends and get any drug he wanted to, and that's a shame. So to say that he can do that, he can also has that same type of freedom out there in the streets. That's why we're so guarded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
So
but
what I'm gonna say is,
go ahead.
It sounds terrible. Go ahead.
He can't.
It boils down to this, man. It's the 4 cycles.
Yeah.
Right.
4 cycles.
Hard times create hard men. Hard men create good times. Good times create, soft men. Soft men create hard times.
Right.
And while we might not be soft men, our generation are fucking soft as fuck.
Yeah, So how are we gonna break the cycle? Because I'm
raising
let it man. No, the fuck you do.
You gotta let it play out.
Like that's one thing. My kids aren't gonna be disrespectful. My kids also aren't gonna be goody two shows in the eyes of society, because they'll probably run around and be out later than most and be on the computers when most people don't have their kids. Drink sodas when they shouldn't.
That's just like my daughter. She's a good kid.
Right.
And when you meet her and other people meet her, they're like, your daughter's so polite. She's so well mannered. She's so well behaved.
That's good. That's what you did with her. That's not who she wanted to be.
Yeah, but on the other side of that coin, I ain't stupid. My kid's 18 years old.
Right.
I'm sure when she ain't around me, she's out raising hell.
She better not be. Uncle Noodles will fuck her up, and you tell her to listen to this shit.
It's like I tell her all.
I'll fuck somebody up that fucks with her. And I got friends in North Carolina. I know.
Well, hey, I'll tell you a funny story.
Nah,
so here we go.
No one messing with her. I'm sure she's a strong mind. Listen, and I'm sure you've raised a strong-willed, strong-minded young woman that can handle herself in those moments. But she doesn't need to. She's too young to experience in that, and so you as her dad, and you protect her against that as long as you can, man. And that's what we do.
I tell her all the time. I'm like, by the time I was your age, I was jumping out of planes and we were bar hopping every night.
Yeah, you were looking for someone's daughter to lay down with your clothes off, you fucking sicko. We were all doing that, so don't forget that when you're raising a daughter, and we gotta protect her.
Yeah,
that's why I'm raising boys.
It's funny that you say that, because her boyfriend, the guy she's with now, he's a good kid.
Yeah,
and he's very, I like him. He's conservative. He's well mannered. He's polite.
Yeah,
I ain't stupid.
Yeah,
I don't ask questions I don't want answers to.
Good.
But in the grand scheme of things,
I'm shaking my head no.
The wife, my daughter, and him came down to where I work about 3 months ago.
Yeah,
scared the shit out of me.
And we went out to dinner.
Right.
And all the guys I work with told him, they went, you realize this guy could call us. He could be here.
Right. That's why you need to show him this podcast, dude. Look at me. When my eyes are closed, little man, but when I open them, watch out. Cause then I'm zoned in. It's crazy, man. Like I would go. I'll just eat his throat. I'll just eat his throat so he doesn't have the opportunity to run his fucking mouth or do anything wrong again.
And see, that's the thing.
But until then, we love you, son. I hope you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I told him. I said, hey, dude, I like you. You're a good kid, but understand something. I could call a couple of dudes. They would show up. I'd be in another state. You'd fucking disappear.
Fuck yeah. Don't tell them you call. Yeah, disappear. That's no bullshit. But this is how you scare him, Tony. You tell him, listen here, son. Like, I remember the old thing. I could kill, like I used to tell him, I could kill you left-handed with my right hand. So many different ways. That'd scare him. But just like, look, man. Listen here, son. I could tap on a tree with my left leg in 27 seconds. Have 14 fucking people here ready to fucking lick your tonsils.
Well, after all the guys that I work with we went out to dinner, and they told him, they said, hey, dude, understand this. You could be disappeared. I took him out on the track, and I showed him a couple of things.
Yeah.
And
then you should take him to the range and say, hey, watch me shoot guns. Yes, perfect.
I did. I took him out to the sniper range.
Right. Oh,
and I had him hitting targets at 750, 780 yards.
Right.
And he goes, well, if you can talk me onto this target that far, how far can you hit? And I was like,
that's none of your
farther than you can
business.
see.
Yeah. How far can you see down there? All right.
I told him, I said, hey, boy, just understand this. As
Now
long
put a
as I can
scope
find an
on it.
open path to you, I can hit you farther than you can see.
Right.
I said,
yeah.
so just understand that.
To an 18-year-old, that scared the shit out of him.
And like you know,
You
what I
didn't
mean?
even
Like,
have to say anything.
and we're joking about it, but in real talk, I remember if somebody's dad, I would not talk to that girl. That would be the last time. I don't care how fine she was, what she had to offer, what my bright ideas were with this chick on that moment. The second her dad told me he was gonna murder me, and I believed it a little bit. I'm gonna have to hurt her feelings a little bit, Pops, by telling her no. Hopefully you appreciate that man to man, but I gotta go home on that one. Yeah, that's crazy. So that's the big thing too about Barnes. Like all of us are doing something different, and like every time I talk to one of us, a different one of y'all, it's like everybody's family's so cool. Like that, you have so much pride in your daughter, and that comes through in your way, and like telling the story. And I like to think of it. I like to brag almost in my mind, especially. I'm like, my friends are fucking squared away. This guy Barnes, the one that used to sneak over and videotape through the windows. We lived in barracks. He used to sneak out from his window, from the top bunk. Yes, we were grown-ass men sleeping in bunk beds. He was on top bunk, and I was on top bunk in the room next. So through the wall, so if you picture a wall, I'm doing this for the camera. You picture a wall, window here, our room, his room. He'd go out the window with the video camera when we'd have special guests over, and he could see through there. You know what I mean? We'd knock
people
on the
don't
window.
realize it, dude. That was like 50 feet up in the fucking air.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't like we were on the first floor. No, you had to dangle out. And then remember that dude Garcia that jumped off the third story and did nothing but broke his jaw? Fed him through a straw. That was crazy. So anyway, and you're in the workforce now and doing that, and there was some stuff I wanted to, like all this thing. You're in North Carolina. We went and visited down there. That's part of my thing since COVID started. Like I've got to see Army buddies. You got to witness my kids playing soccer, all this. Did you get COVID or get sick through any of this?
I actually did get COVID. I just got over COVID, and I came out of quarantine 2 days before I just got home.
Oh, yeah? What did you do for it? Did you get any treatments or anything? You just stayed away?
Nope.
Just quarantine?
Hey, dude.
Did you exercise? Your fat ass get out there and run or anything?
I did. And that's I'm gonna tell you.
Nah,
you know,
you didn't get no vaccine, did you? Did you get vaccine? No.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm not an epidemiologist or whatever the fuck you call them. I'm not a doctor.
It's a fucking clitoridomotomus.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, I didn't even know I had this shit.
Right.
We without going into detail, we had an outbreak where I work.
Right.
And we had 10 dudes
test positive. Like come up with COVID, or they test positive?
Oh,
they just got sick. Yeah, they just got sick. You got a bunch of sick dudes. Because that's another thing. There's a difference between people testing positive and then people just getting COVID and being sick. A lot of motherfuckers get sick.
Here's the thing. 7 of the 10 were fully vaccinated, brother.
Don't say that. You can get me canceled. Our fucking podcast going to get canceled for facts like that.
So watch this. So we tested everybody.
Right.
10 dudes came up hot. 7 of them were fully vaxxed.
Right.
2 days after.
And these are all guys in pretty good shape and take genuinely pretty good care of themselves. They used to take great care of themselves. They had to at one point.
Yeah. I mean, all of them were prior military, prior law enforcement guys.
Yeah.
So I took a test. I came up negative.
Right.
The day after I took the test, well, excuse me. The day after I got my negative result back, I started feeling weird.
Right.
I didn't feel bad. Now, where we work, you have to when you come in the door in the morning, they take your temperature. When you leave for the evening, they take your temperature.
Right.
I never had a temperature, ever.
Like a fever.
Yeah, never had a fever.
Yeah.
But one morning,
he's drunk now.
One morning, I woke up and I took the dog out.
That fucking dog.
And I brought the dog back, and my coffee was ready. So I took a big swig of coffee, and I couldn't taste it.
So it's a real that's what I like. That's for everybody knows. That's like I don't know if I ever had COVID, but that's gonna be my determining factor when I don't taste something. But go ahead. So it didn't taste like coffee. So I would reckon if Coke would taste like water, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, dude, it tasted like hot water. Is exactly what it tasted like.
Right.
And I was like, well, shit. And at the time, I was still smoking cigarettes, so I lit a cigarette to taste it, and I couldn't taste it. Right. It was like smoking ultralights, and I was like, shit.
So hold up. You're tasting like if I smoke weed, it's not going to taste like weed?
Taste it.
Hold on.
It'll have no taste.
Hold on, Tony. Remember where you're at. No taste. I got pee. I'm gonna piss again. Plus, I want to see myself naked. Like when I hang out with my army buddies, I like to check my shit. I'll be right back, Tony.
All right,
remember where you're at. You can get a drink or do whatever. We cut all this stuff and make it right. You gotta take a shit break. You're not getting in trouble. Is the wife home and all that? Everybody home tonight? Or just what are they doing?
Yeah, Kim's in there watching TV, and Sarah, she's off with Hunter. So
Kim's probably glad you're out on the porch, just chilling. You're giving her a break.
Yeah, she told me, she goes, don't bring this thing around me. I don't want to be on camera.
Oh, like, come on. That's even weird. I can't wait to meet her in person. Like, that's funny. That's great. So, like, that's what the things we were talking about. Some of the stuff I'm just trying to, like I said, like, what's the thing, like, so your job, and I'm just going to try to point into some of the new stuff, and then we'll just go through it. Like, one of the things I was looking at, Naveed, is like the Department of Labor. My thing about Jackson going to school, Tony, is, okay, he's got to wear this mask, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And people say, oh, anti-mask, anti-vax. I don't give a fuck. But when my 10-year-old son says, when they make him believe that he is wearing this mask to protect him and everyone around him against COVID, is that what they're teaching him? And if they are teaching him that is not facts, and then that's the problem I have.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Jason, it's scary what they're teaching our kids. I just saw something on the news tonight. Right. They were asking kids, college kids now, right. So they're not kids, they're fucking adults.
Adults, yeah, if they're in college, yeah.
They were talking about 9/11, and they were, seriously, these kids are talking about, well, I don't want to talk about the guys who did it because I don't want to cause Islamophobia.
Right, like there's any of that on there. Look, fuck, you just talked now. He's a Muslim, and like they're not, like it's not about religion. They're making it about religion. It's not.
Yeah, it ain't got shit to do with religion. It's got to do with being a shithead or not.
Right, yeah, and again, when we say religion, that we're gonna lump it in. We're gonna be we're gonna be inclusive. So when we just say that includes your race, color, creed, like none of that matters. It matters right and wrong, man.
And and that's
regardless of how you feel, right or wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I try to tell my daughter all the time, because she's like, "You're a racist," and I'm like, "Where do you get that shit?" I'm like, I got brown friends, yellow friends, black friends. I'm like, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. You're either a good person or you're a shithead.
Right. You're a racist because you might not have agreed with someone that doesn't look like you. In the eyes of the younger people today, if you don't agree with someone that doesn't look like you, you're against their whole race.
I get asked all the time,
right?
Have I ever faced racism? I always go, no. And it's always a surprise.
They're like, how? Aren't you Muslim? Aren't you this or that? Yeah. And like all those things you think about me, all those things that you say are true, except for no, I've not been. I've been called the N-word more than you, I'm sure.
Yeah, and this is my thing, man. I don't care what God you pray to. I don't care what color you are. You're either good or you're not.
Or whether you sit down peeing or standing up. It doesn't. You don't care, right? It's not your business, is it, Tony?
Yeah, none of that shit matters to me.
Right.
Either you're a good person and you do what's required of you,
right?
Or all you want to do is play talking points. Now, right. Like, I'll play the stupid talking point game all day.
He does, because he kills Facebook. TonyBarnes is my favorite.
Well, we don't.
I mean, that's just like here in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to be jobless, and I can accept that.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I ain't taking that fucking shot.
So yeah.
Hey, don't say that, because I'm a contractor.
My parent company.
I'm a contractor.
Right, yeah.
My parent company just came out with a policy of, hey, you will be vaccinated by
January sometime?
No, October 25th.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm like, I just got over COVID.
Right.
So I'm not taking a vaccine right now, period. Because one, I've got mad crazy antibodies.
Right. That's what science says. You don't need one now. You got the antibodies, right?
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
That's my thing. In the end, my immune system works pretty good because I didn't even know I had COVID until I lost my sense of taste.
Right.
I mean, I don't get me wrong.
Did you go to the hospital or any of that shit?
No, fuck no.
No, see?
In the end, I'm round. I know I'm round, but I still work out 5 days a week.
Right. You still got
while I might not run as fast as I used to, I bench 300 pounds.
Oh, shit. So you didn't do that back then, did you?
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Something's changed. Yeah.
When I was running 11-minute 2 miles, I wasn't benching 300 pounds.
Right. There's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like literally the whole time that I had COVID,
Right.
I was still working out. Now, I didn't go to the gym because I didn't want to spread the shit around.
Right.
Because I'm not one of the people that think it's not real. I think it's very real. I've had several people very close to me die from this shit. So I think it's very real. But here's the thing, man. It's just like the fucking flu.
I'm like Joe Rogan, man. If Joe Rogan thinks it's real, and he thinks it's real.
Now, here's my thing.
It is what it is.
But he recovered in the day.
3 days. Ivermectin. Go ahead. Horse.
Well, that's
horse
just like
dewormer.
me. All I did was work out and take multivitamins.
Listen. The VA put me. That is one pill I take. I take vitamin B12 and vitamin D. That's 2 pills I take daily.
I mean, I take an animal
and I go in the sun.
And that's the thing. Mm-hmm. I take an animal pack a day. I take an animal flex pack a day, and I go outside and I exercise.
Right, you do something. I don't even gotta exercise, brother. I just walk around, pick up sticks, start a fire. I chase my kids to soccer. I chase my dogs. I stay active. Not only because I don't want my joints my shit's broke, dude. I couldn't lift the rucksack if you wanted me to, but I still want to be able to walk and drink my sodas and stuff. You know what I mean?
Hang on a second.
Go ahead.
Let me flip this thing around.
What we got, dog?
So
there's a backpack.
No, that's a body armor.
Look, I can't even see. Oh, look at him. Look, he's got his shit right out there. Look. Oh, you can't see it, Davey.
So I ran the other day with that on my back.
Yeah, see?
For almost 4 miles.
Why? You okay?
And every day I either run or I bicycle.
Right. You do something. You get your heart rate up. Look at that. He's showing me all his toys now, Naveed. I like that shotgun right there. That's bad, man. Like that's almost better than having a mean ass dog. Look, you come to the door. Yeah, I will put you down. I will fucking blow a hole in you with that. Look at that. So is that the side that you carry that with you all the time? What do you carry with you daily? You carry
that Glock 19 that I just showed you.
Yeah. And what's the law like in North Carolina? Like West Virginia just went blank out. You just put the gun where you want, just to holler, you just travel around, shoot motherfuckers. What's it like in North Carolina? You got concealed, don't you?
I got a concealed carry permit. Like that gun that I just showed you, the pistol.
Right.
When I was hanging out with you in Winston-Salem, that was on me the whole time.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw you. That's how I knew we were good.
And the little shotgun I showed you, that's a 12 gauge pistol.
Right. Go ahead.
So on concealed carry, right?
Right.
We had this situation at some place. I'm not gonna bring
right.
It up here, right? But there was a few of the people were concerned that there was one person that was
had a
concealed carrying, right?
Yeah.
And walking around. All right. Well, I'm not gonna say who. So don't. Or
I probably know who it is.
But not where, right? Because then people get upset. But I started arguing.
I know the guy. He's got a double canopy.
You can argue. No, that's not the thing.
Okay, never mind.
It's a completely different person, right? Someone unrelated completely. And my concern was don't argue with the fact that he has concealed carry. You can argue that you don't like him.
Right.
But that's the law.
Right.
Because tomorrow if I want to be able to.
Right.
So don't make it about the gun.
Yeah, if you don't like the guy, don't lump on, okay, he also is one of those concealed carry guys. Let's throw concealed carry under the bus. He's also a guy that likes to go to church. Let's throw going to church on the bus. Yeah, that's how they're doing it now. They lump it all together. That's why we've got to be careful. Tony, you just like you say, you're not a racist, and I believe that 100%. And there's people that don't look like you or I or look like anybody we know right now that will stand behind that and vouch for that. But it's important that you remain that way, and what they want, when I say they, those people that want to destroy this country from the inside out, they want people like you and I that have a real reason to feel the way we feel, to just not bother, to sit on our porch and just go about our way and let them affect everybody else. But I'm not okay with that because it's not what we fought for. It's not anything that. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I said, my service was my service. I fought for the job. I fought for the paycheck, but then it became part of who I was 100%. I'm proud of my time as being a soldier. I was proud of the flag on my shoulder. I was proud representing in other countries and far off lands. I was also proud of what our country was doing. And again, you know what I mean? We served during the Clinton years. Like, we served during Barack Obama's time. Like, so our political views or whatever didn't sway our service. It didn't deter. It didn't devalue our service at all.
No,
it was
that
what it
was
was.
my thing, man. I didn't care who was in charge.
Right.
I was doing what I was doing because that's who I was.
Right. And then you gave a shit about the person till you left it right, so you couldn't fail for them. It was that easy.
And that was the thing. I didn't care who was the commander in chief.
Right.
All I cared about was the guys. By that time, like, I was flying back into Iraq the night Barack Obama won the presidency.
Right. Yeah, and it didn't change what you did when your boots hit the ground, did it?
No, not even a little bit.
Not a minute.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Flying back into Iraq, because I was home on mentor leave then.
Right.
Flying back into Iraq, we had this fabulous little flight attendant.
See how I said that? I love the fabulous. Go ahead.
And once they found out that Barack Obama won, dude, he was cheering and shit.
Oh, he was lit. He was opening up the liquor.
He was happy as a clam, dude. But the funny thing was, this was like a straight ass military flight, so everybody in it was in fucking DCU.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like one of them. Right. Had weapons and shit. He's like, oh yeah.
He's all dancing around and doing crazy shit.
Yeah, man.
And then he looks around and realizes the audience.
Right.
And he looked at me, and he goes, well, what do you think? And I said, I don't care who is in charge.
Right.
It's not going to change who I am. It's
and
not
what the fuck I'm about to do. That's the thing, man.
I wonder if these people would change their perspective if they spent, say, 6 months in a different country.
A lot. I think a lot of people. I don't even know about different countries, different stuff. Like, a lot of people would change their opinion on what war is really about if they saw what we did when we spent 20 years on the ground in a country. We didn't spend 20 years shooting bullets and stuff, but we also didn't spend 20 years sitting on our ass. You know, right, Barnes?
And that's the thing, man. You know, that's like I tell my daughter all the time. I'm like, I did what I did, so you never have to fucking see what I've seen. I was like, because I've seen horrible things, and I've done horrible things.
Right.
And I'm not going to shy away from it. I've done some horrible shit.
Right. Yeah. But you kept yourself probably from doing worse horrible shit. You know, that's where I like. You know what I mean? Like, that was a struggle too, bro. Like, that's real talk there too.
There was a guy who got killed when I was a squad leader. He was my guy. His name is Edgardo Zayas. He was from Massachusetts,
right
outside of Boston.
Right.
I love that kid. I love that kid like a son.
Right. We loved them all like our own, man, and they loved. We were loved like kids. Like, yeah.
And I found out who killed him. Well, our battalion found out who killed him, and we went and caught that dude.
Right.
My platoon caught that dude.
Wow.
And my platoon leader brought him down in a double chicken wing. I'll never forget it as long as I live, dude. And this dude spoke English, and we know he did because I've talked to him.
Right. Yeah, man. And people don't believe that. Like, people don't believe that these motherfuckers do that. They believe
can I ask what a double chicken wing is?
Like, when you have someone with their hands like this, like, you snatch your kids up. Yeah. So you got your hands. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Ian Peoples, my platoon leader, handed this dude off to me.
Right.
Because I had the empty seat, the convoy. And I'll never forget it, dude, as long as I live. I wanted to kill that guy so bad I could taste it. I could feel it in my soul. Right. I was like, just shoot this motherfucker, dude. Just kill him right here.
Right.
And I was like, no, that ain't the right answer.
Right.
But I did take my pistol. I pulled my Beretta out of my little leg holster.
Right. Gave it to him.
And I stuck it up in his rib cage so far I could feel his heartbeat on the end of my barrel.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you are so lucky there are rules to how I have to do this.
Golly.
I said, because if I had my way, I'd take you down here on the Tigris, put a couple caps in your ass, and throw you in a fucking river.
Right, man. Feed them to the sharks and Custos. Fucking sharks.
You know, looking back on it, I should have shot that sumbitch because they put him in camp proper, and I'm sure he's out by now.
Right, yeah.
You know, either way, win, lose, or draw.
It is that. It like, that proves the point that it's not about killing motherfuckers either, man. It's about doing, like, there's a real, like, mission. There was a real end to the madness. It wasn't just going over there and shoot at bad guys and bad guys shoot at us. Like, we were there to do a job, like to support something bigger than us, to support, a country rebuilding itself and forming a government and doing that kind of stuff. All this stuff way above our pay grade. So we got involved in the grunt business and the hard work and the blood and guts and stuff. And then inside of that, you meet these people from this country that we are basically invading, depending on if the sun's up or the sun's down. So if the sun's down, we're an invader. If the sun's up, we're the protector, right, Barnes? And so that gets back to people saying, well, these fucking people that we trained just quit. Well, we knew they would quit once we left anyways, right, Barnes? So I'm not lying. Like we weren't training fucking operators. We were training people to stand beside us, not stand without us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And, I told people all the time, I was like, eventually we're going to pull out of Afghanistan, and when we do, it's going to fold.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, why is it going to fold? And I'm like, here's the thing, man.
It's going to fold. It would fold to whoever put themselves in power. And hopefully we put somebody, hopefully in the end of the mission that we were never able to complete. So we're just fucking pipe dreaming. But I think, and I believe when I served anything, that the end all mission was to make the place better. And we never got to that. We were never given the opportunity. We did that in Germany, man. People are forgetting that, dude. We were in Germany for fucking how many years? 30 or 40 fucking years.
Well, here's the thing about Afghanistan, man.
We had posts with buildings. Get the fuck out of here.
I firmly believe this about Afghanistan. People had in their mind we were going to build America in the Middle East, and that shit wasn't going to happen.
No, you knew that. We're sick you fucking got off the airplane.
Yeah, they don't see themselves as a fucking country. They see themselves as tribes.
Yes, all over the place. And that's what they are. It's not. We define them as a country, or whoever defined them as a country. But you go down to the human, to the human level, to the individual level. They're part of their tribe before they're a part of their country.
The culture is like that.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and that's a culture thing. That's a culture thing.
In the grand scheme of things, some British dude drew some fucking lines on a map, because if you talk to people in Afghanistan, the real lines,
right. You can speak to this. Naveed's from Pakistan, so the real
that's the
borders.
Thing,
the borders were drawn by Mother Nature, right? We're talking valleys and mountains and ridges.
Well, I'm talking about when they drew the lines on the map.
Right.
You had some fucking Brit
draw
the line, and this
compass
is
Afghanistan.
And shit. But in reality, if you look at the tribal
lines, a lot of the border goes straight through a tribe's territory, and that's not a border then.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Pashtun Wali people, the people who believe Pashtun shit,
right?
They're deep in Pakistan all the way into Afghanistan,
right?
So the lines we drew on a map don't mean shit.
Yeah, it stops right there in Pakistan if you believe the map, right? Right there at the border.
Now keep in mind, I came when I was 5, so I don't know too much, but
you know what we're speaking of.
But even on the border of Pakistan, they want to carve out another slice, because that's where I think the Baloch people live.
Yeah.
And they want their own space, so they want their own
so they want to claim their own land, which is how they done it for thousands of years, though, right?
Yeah, if you look at where the way those people moved from the steppes, right?
Yeah.
It's all tribal.
Right. It has nothing to do with a border like countries that basically English or English speakers.
If you look at it, these people have been fighting
thousands of years.
They're going to fight till the end of time. That's like if you read the book.
Right, and I think where we step in and people say, then why did we even get involved in the first place? Well, it's so that we could sort of pick a side where we see the side that sort of see things our way and see what we think is betterment for that part of the world. We wanted to aid them and give them our support. Well, aiding and giving them in other countries, sometimes that's just $1. Sometimes that's just food and that type of aid. But in these Middle Eastern countries, it's been bringing our soldiers and putting them on the ground and then giving that advantage to the side we support. That's happened in South America. That's happening everywhere. But when we did this in Afghanistan, guess what? That side was set up to succeed in the master plan. And again, like I said, they were give the country back to themselves. Giving the country back to themselves with the support of the allies of the NATO nations, not giving the country back to themselves and fend for yourselves. Never. I don't think it was. I think that's what we did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just fucked them. We just said fuck you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
that's not what I said though, but that's what we as a country said.
Do you think that they want so? There has to be a desire. I heard one time during the Revolutionary War,
right,
that there was only about 3% or 5% or whatever, but it was a real small number,
right,
of Americans that actually fought.
Yeah.
The rest sat.
It's still
back,
the way. It's
but the
6% now.
Yeah, the rest sat back and
regardless
to see who was going to win.
The wheel of the winner,
right?
So,
but there's that desire for freedom,
right?
Do you think that is there, or it was okay? Well, you're here now. We'll do what you tell us to do.
I believe that's what went on. Now that the Americans are here, they have the bigger guns and more money. Like we as a people who are not that hell bent on suffering, we will side with them. You know, that's why I talk about the day and night with you know, when the lights go down and we're not supposed to move around and stuff, and you go back and you get to sit down at a table with your neighbor. Are you really an ally to the Americans? Or are you just the job?
Yeah.
The reason why the Taliban was able to take over so quickly is because those guys were just there doing a job. You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, in the end, this is how I see it, man. For 20 years, we did what we could to make people's lives better.
Yeah, we did. Women and everybody. We didn't like that. That can't go. It's getting lost.
But you think 20 years would be enough to change? You know what I mean? Like that's a long time.
No, I don't think so. I think that's how in thousands a year of fear.
But you're 10 years old and you grow and you're not 30.
But you've always heard about how it was. All you saw. But what you heard about used to be you got killed for not wearing this, or you got killed if you acted this kind of way. You died. Your family.
And now they're
it's not that far off. Yeah, and they're getting killed again.
Yeah, music is banned.
Huh? Yeah, music is banned. Like, you know, women that had businesses lost their businesses. They lost.
See, I'll get myself in trouble when it comes to religion.
Right? Yeah. I'm not talking about. No, I don't even talk about religion.
No, but Barnes can agree to this. That those two there are married together, religion and culture.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Religion.
So you can't split it off, right?
Right. Yeah.
But what's being preached today, and this is just my personal opinion,
right?
Not making claims for anybody else.
Yeah.
But it's so far from the actual core.
The core, I think, in all religion, in my opinion, all religions got away from what really made it what it was. Yeah, for sure, the core. But in fundamentalism, that's the craziness. Yeah,
that's the thing, right? There's two sides, right? On one side, you could get too relaxed.
Yeah.
Right. That's a different scenario.
Right.
But there, it's so rigid to the right.
Everybody.
And it's based off of somebody, and this is my opinion.
Right.
Based off of somebody's interpretation. I don't like music. Music is banned.
Right. Yeah. It's not a legitimate coming from the heavens type thing. Yeah, for sure. Whether we know better.
Sound was created by God, right?
Right. I believe so.
Right?
Someone, Mother Nature, put a lot here for us. You know what I mean? But so there was that. You know what I mean? And what else are we talking about? Like, we got so much going on, and one thing I want to bring Barnes on about here. I just want to read through my little notes. I had this stuff. But it's so comical, and like we saw it in the military, right? I try to people. Well, the government does a conspiracy theory, but we saw a trickle down effect in the military. You know, we threw rounds into Area J, live rounds into the weeds, so that we didn't have to count them at the end of the month. Or we were made to go fire off rounds just so that next year's training cycle we were given more rounds. Remember that, Barnes?
Yeah, Spendex, baby.
Yeah, it's, you know what I mean? That's what we did. So like we're at an age where me and like Barnes is, my fear is what's gonna happen when I'm gone. I think Barnes is the same way. You know, I don't fear for what's happening in Holden and Jackson and today and stuff, because I'm here. I'm here to protect them. I'm here to guide them. But when I'm not, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? I think that's the only real like sort of fear I have. And then as I grow older and I gain friends and stuff, and as they get older and prove to me that I'm not as smart as I thought I am, and they don't require me as much as I do, it's gonna blend into something peaceful where I get to sit in I'll be okay sitting on the porch one day with my kids more than 10 miles away from me.
Yeah, I don't worry about things today, because if shit hits the fan today,
right,
I'm still young enough that I can still throw down. But in 20 years,
right,
65, I'm not going to be in the kind of shape I am now to use what I know.
Right, it's going to be obsolete. You're like part of our form is our function, and when we lose the function, we have no form.
Still pull the trigger.
Right, you can still squeeze it off, you know what I mean? But you gotta be able to lift that bitch. And my point is, it shouldn't have to come to that. Like we went overseas, so we didn't have to have that here. So, the fact that we have so many people like us thinking about even how do we defend our own home here in the United States of America has got shit all kinds of fucked up, in my view, right, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing, man. I never had grand visions of, well, we're going to end the war on terror. This shit ain't never going to end. It's been
we'll call it something different.
You can't.
But the whole point
right.
of it was to keep it away from here,
from home. Yes, from off our soil, 100%.
And now we're importing people, and we're letting just a flood of fucking people. And I'm all about.
But we don't know about, like, we don't know. How do you know that? How do we know?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man. I got a partner that I
see. Like, I believe you. I'm just saying, like, that's if you listen to the news, it's not even going on. It's not in the news. We don't.
I'm going to tell you, man. And what scares me so bad about tomorrow is I got a partner that's in Border Patrol, and he's been in Border Patrol probably 10 years.
Yeah,
dude, he's been telling me for years about how many prayer mats and Qurans, and I ain't bagging on Muslims.
Right, yeah. It's the fact.
I'm just saying, it's just the fact that they found so many prayer mats and Qurans at the border of Mexico and Texas.
Yeah. That's real talk.
And Barnes,
they don't
get
even
offended.
Report it no more.
He knows. Yeah, they don't report it. It's not something to report it. It's not a sensitive thing because it's
too political.
It is what it is. It's run of the mill. It's like, well, you're gonna find empty aluminum cans and Qurans and prayer mats, right? Yeah. So like whereas in the beginning you found a Quran and a prayer mat, you're like, stop the presses, take pictures, let's call in people, what's going on, let's do some research, who's here. Now it's just whatever it is.
That's what my buddy was saying. He was like,
Security.
5 years ago when we found the first one, it was a big deal.
Right.
He said, but we're finding so much of it now that people don't even bat an eye about it. And I'm like, we keep talking about 9/11.
Right.
And people don't even know that shit's happening.
Right. They think
that's why we need a wall.
Huh?
That's why we need a wall.
Yeah, and they need a wall. And as soon as Biden became president, they stopped building it. But up to the day he was elected, they were building it. And people say, no, they weren't. No, they weren't. I'm 100% know for a fact, and I can't tell you how or why, but I know for a fact they were. Yeah, I have a friend that was like
well, hey, I'm going to tell you this. Do you know that the companies that were supposed to build it, they're still getting paid to build it?
Yeah. Well, I know the dude just like when he got it, like it's
not. No, but listen to what he said.
Go ahead.
They're still getting paid.
Yeah. To
build it.
Well, it's
they're
a
not
contract.
Building it.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. We're not pissed off about that. We can waste money in this country, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's my whole point. People don't even realize that.
That's a contract, bro.
Yeah. They got a
regardless of what the president says. Yeah, that's legal and binding agreement. Whoever's president, like you got your 4-year government contract. I don't care if it ran through 2024. Guess what? You still got it. You're still getting paid regardless. And just because the president says you can't build something, well, you're still gonna pay me for building it, even if I'm not building it, bitch. That's what I'd say to our president. I'd say, bitch, just like that. Yeah, man. So there's a lot of that going on, dude. And I'm just glad, you know what I mean? People say, blah, 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 blah. Look, you got to talk about it. People got to talk about it that know about it.
I never worried too much about immigration.
Yeah.
Like being an immigrant myself. Like,
my
father, I was fortunate my father brought us here.
Right.
But when you compound what's going on today,
right?
How sensitive people. No one's teaching.
Listen,
no one teaches. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words won't hurt me. That's not taught. It's the other way around.
Right?
Words hurt more.
Words hurt, man.
Right?
Words are so fucking awful. I can't
understand when you add all of that together,
right?
And all the movements that happened recently, now I worry. I don't want.
I don't care if they listen to me, Nabi, and this is my take on fucking immigration. You see how I live? I got fucking 9 other adults in my house, 1 bathroom, 14 dogs, 18 cats, lizards, snakes, the mice, the spiders, all that bullshit. I don't give a fuck. You stack 100% law-abiding, legal American citizens, green card holders, whatever you want, people in the process, whatever you want, people that got here illegally but are taking the right steps to be legal, stack them next to me. Put them in my house. I ain't got a motherfucking problem because they're not a safety issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have a real problem when we letting anybody in. Guess what? When we go overseas, we just don't let anybody come into our posts. There's a reason for that. It's not because we don't like them. It's not because this or that. It's a safety thing. We are giving away our safety at the southern border. They're giving away the safety to my house, to your house, to our friend's house. And these motherfuckers on the motherfucking liberal fuck, sorry, I didn't want to get political, have no problem with just letting any Tom, Dick, and Harry live next door to them. And I'm not okay with that. And they're okay with Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to be Sue, Sally, and fucking Samantha, and guess what? That's okay, but I don't want to know how they piss.
I was telling Barnes earlier.
Sorry. God damn it, we're not supposed
what
to.
What politicized me to this?
I love everybody, dude.
This I know, but this is the last country on earth that allows us the freedoms that we have.
Right. To even speak like I just spoke.
If we lose this, it's over.
Yeah, we can't. This is and I believe that. I still have confidence that there's enough fucking hard dicks, fucking guys with nuts the size of fucking watermelons that call themselves Americans that'll put the end to the bullshit. Because I was fucking nothing in the field of awesomeness. But it took every single little peon of us to make it. And those guys are still up there. They're not going to let this go down like that.
You know what my son asked me? He goes,
a lot of people are making it hard.
Why don't we take, Hassan, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we take all these people that think this way and just give them a little town over here?
It's called California.
And then surround it by country folks.
Right.
So they can't leave.
Yeah, or they won't cut through. Yeah. It ain't even like that. They won't want it. Like, you know what I mean? It'll be... It's like, it says like, and people try to say, funny, be joking, like California. Well, then what are we stuck with? New York? I don't want that. I don't want fucking Deysie. I don't want Baltimore. I don't want none of that crap.
And I don't think it's.
And I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the way it's run and what you. I don't want to walk out of the street and run into a fucking needle or a fucking junkie. And that's the problem. There's no right with it. We live in a country where you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
We also live in a country where it may allow you to live that way, and such is life. I'm okay with them, but don't bring it in on my people. Go ahead.
And California has its place. New York has its place. Like, that's part of America.
Yeah.
It's that thinking.
Yeah, it's that it's okay to go shit in public. Like, they pass laws, it's okay to poop. Listen, what's going on in San Francisco.
But basic stuff like hard work.
Right.
Doing right by everybody else, following the law.
Yeah, like, code. What we talk about code. No one talks about code anymore. They don't talk about code or exercise.
People are bragging that it's cheaper they make more staying home and collecting money.
Right. Well, let's see how that goes. They stopped unemployment shit this week. I don't know how it goes. I didn't get none of it. Yeah, I'm employed like shit. They should have gave it to me. Retired doesn't mean you're employed, does it?
Oh. No, that's the big thing. If you have military retirement, you don't qualify for unemployment.
Right, but I'm on the fucking cusp of being poor. Thank God for my family and my friends, dude. If it was up to me, if it was left up to my pension and what they pay me, my kids couldn't play soccer. I couldn't travel with, and that's a fucking sad state of things. But I also believe it takes a village, so I put my village through the ringer when it comes to raising my kids. You better be there for them.
I'm about to run back into that too because my company said, "Hey, you're getting the shot, or you're losing your job." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'll lose my job."
Well, maybe you're not losing your job. You're looking for another one. Fuck them, man.
I've already lined up 3. So
right.
But in the end, that you talking about unemployment and shit like that. People like us, we don't qualify for it because we get a retirement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you act like this is something extra that I'm getting on top. I'm like, I put in 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears for this.
Right, for a fraction of what I deserve. You know what I mean?
And you guys,
you fight for it, Barnes.
You guys sacrifice your life, though. That's
it's
a whole different.
It ain't like we didn't fight and suffer for the shit that fucking we're getting now. Yeah. And I don't think it's they say, well, you get half of your base pay. I'm like, bitch.
You know what
half of
base
them
pay
make it.
is poverty. No one's like, I don't think there's an enlisted member if you just gave them their base pay at 15 years would be considered above the poverty line. That's the truth. Now you add into the basic allowance for housing and separate rations for some food for married soldiers and shit like that. Then you get above the poverty line. Luckily, there's a lot of things provided for you in the military that just aren't written in stone that you get to save a little money, but you're not making a bunch of money. You know what I mean? No one's getting rich in the military.
Hey, I'll put it to you this way, man. As a first sergeant deployed, getting all the combat pay, the no taxes, all that bullshit. I thought I was shitting in high cotton until I became a contractor.
Shitting in high cotton.
Yeah,
right.
you know, as a contractor,
go
working
ahead.
in Iraq, I made more in 2 weeks working as a contractor in Iraq and Afghanistan than I did as a first sergeant.
In charge of hundreds of Americans, basically responsible for hundreds of Americans' lives. That's another thing to think about too.
Yeah, that's why I don't think you guys should have to work after that.
I don't think
the rest of your life. That's how they did it in old empires, right? Once you retired, you got
as a fucking soldier, as a gladiator, give you a land and some donkeys and shit, man. I just want to, like I believe. Because as a soldier, I'll never humility is part of what you're supposed to be, so I'll say no. But yeah, like I have no problem if Barnes got done when he was done and he had his little spot that he raised his family. It didn't bother anybody because I know if you didn't have to, you wouldn't leave home, would you, Barnes? You just stay there with your family. Yeah, like I'm the same way too. It's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate. That's why I got in such uproar, Barnes. I always told people, why you getting... I'm not involved in politics and none of that shit. But, man, like they finally, with this COVID shit, affected what happens when I walk in and out of my front door. You know what I mean? Yeah. Both in and out. That's the problem. You couldn't get away from it. Everything else they've ever done... you know what I mean? We could get away from just by moving away or doing it. Not agree, even if I didn't agree with a certain law or this and that, I could get away from it safely and be shielded from it by myself. I could not shield myself and my family from this COVID-19 and all the rules that went with it. Not the sickness, not the illness, just the rules and regulations and demands upon me and my family that were extra. I could not avoid that, and that's what got to me. Because I never in 1 million years thought that would happen in our country, Barnes.
And here's the thing, Jason. It's just somebody saying, well, you can't.
Right. Because that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's why.
You know, I keep hearing about executive order this, mandate that. Bitch, I don't give a fuck about none of that because that ain't a law.
Right. Show me in the law or show me with good, real facts. Don't skew it. Don't make me... Look, because if I do doubt you, I'm not doubting you because I hate you, because someone else. You made me doubt you. The reason why I doubt the facts and where they're coming from is because they made me doubt them.
Well, and look at the psychology,
when you catch them in lies saying one thing and then, a week later saying the exact opposite, I'm like, bitch, the internet is forever.
Right, and unless we stand up, unless we say, okay, that enough is enough, we're going to require better from you, they will keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so it started with... in order to flatten the curve. This is what we've got to do.
Right. We're going to mask up. We're going to get
then slowly it turned. Yeah, slowly it turned into, well, if you do this, if you behave, just like what we do with our kids.
Right.
If you behave, we might give you this freedom back.
Right. Well, the carrot. Yeah, it's psychological, some real psychological
now
shit.
People are going around going, well, you've got coworkers, friends, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go ahead and get the damn vaccine so that we can all get back? It's like, wait. When did this?
Just get it? Like,
what happened to my body, my rules?
Like, and listen, and I want one of them people that are so easy to say, go get the vaccine. Show me where it's cured it. Show me where it's any different. Like, you know what? Because there's some famous people that got it and then don't have it no more, and they didn't get a shot. And I want to be like them.
Let me hit you with some experience.
Here we go.
So
7 out of 10 were vaccinated up there where he worked. But go ahead.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. So we run 2 task orders, and one is somewhere and one is somewhere else. I ain't gonna get into it because I ain't gonna violate my non-disclosure agreement.
Right.
But here's the thing. When I talk to the medical directors, when they come down to do the medical days, when we have to give guys shots and shit,
right,
and the doctors have to see them,
right,
you know, they're always pushing me. They're like, "Hey, have you got your facts yet?" I'm like, "Fuck no, they ain't gonna get it."
Right.
And they're like, "Why not?"
We gotta post that.
And I'm like, "Well, let me ask you a series of simple questions, boys." I said, "If y'all can convince me, I'll go get it today because the nurses are here.
Right.
I'll just go back to where they go,
Right.
and I'll have them hook me up."
Right.
You know, I took plenty of vaccines in my life in the Army.
Right.
And for this company to
They
go,
try to throw that up in my face all the time too. Well, you did it. The Army just gave you vaccines. You took the flu vaccine.
So I said, so let me ask you this. I said, if I get the vaccine, can I still catch COVID? And they were like, well, yes, it's just like the flu shot. You know, you can.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's first strike against you.
Right.
I'm like, if I get the vaccine, can I still catch it? Can I still give COVID to people?
Right.
And they're like, well, yeah, it's just like the flu shot. You know, you can. I said, then what the fuck is the difference between me and you?
Right. Because I have one kid that gets a flu shot all the time and one kid that doesn't. So it's not like I'm one of these vaxxers, anti-vaxxers. It's just how life has gotten to me. And right now, life has gotten to me whereas such that they told me to get a vaccine for something and I don't want to do it because it's. You know?
Here's my thing. I'm not anti-vax.
No.
And I pushed my mom and dad to get it.
Yeah, that's why I was okay. Like they made like I was when my dad got it. I was like, okay, he needs to because he's old. I think that, and unfortunately, like now in hindsight, I think even that was bad thinking. I think he got sick, and this is just my thinking. He's gonna say or he didn't, but he had a little ill right after that, where he's feeling a little faint and dizzy and stuff. I think it had something to do with it. He'll say it wasn't, but it was shortly after he got the first shot, so or the second one of them. But I maybe shouldn't have been okay with him. I'd have felt bad if something really bad happened to him. You know what I mean?
My parents have comorbidities. And here's the thing about COVID.
Right.
If you get it and you got comorbidities, it's a fucking death sentence.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But, here's the thing. I'm not 70. I'm in good shape, relatively. Compared to 90% of the people in the country, I'll run circles around them.
Right.
I'm not getting it because I don't think I need it. It has a 99.
Right, and how are they going to know that you got it, Barnes? How are they going to know?
But that should be your prerogative.
Well, here's the thing.
Right?
I keep hearing them say this, too. Well, there's no
How are they going to know you have it?
Yeah, they say there's no database of COVID people, people that's got the shot. And I'm like, well, then how are you going to come around and tell people, hey, you need to get the shot? If you don't know who ain't got it and who does.
Right.
Because Barnes, I was showing Jason the World Health
Organization. That was my segue into look at this fucking digital passport shit.
Yeah. And here's my thing, man. I'm an easygoing guy. I don't fuck with people. I don't want nobody fucking with me. But until you have to show an ID when you vote in an election.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not running around with a fucking ID saying, hey, I got stuck with your jab, because it went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to fucking 3 jabs to feed your family.
Right. Yeah. Like they're really trying to, they're going to take people's jobs from them. I'm pissed about that. He, Biden in this speech, this fucking dumb fuck, he said he's going to if he has to use his power to remove people that, you know what I mean? Like, really, president? Is that presidential?
When you talk about dictatorship or oppression, right?
Yeah.
Once they tie this, like a demand, and put that condition on you earning a living.
On one of your rights.
Earning a living and feeding your family.
Yeah.
Then that's
you're borderline fucking Castro and shit, dude.
Well, hey, here you go. Let me hit you with this. So the chief of staff, I done forgot the weasel's name. I can see his little pudgy fucking pasty face right now. They found the workaround. They're going to use OSHA.
I saw that. Yeah.
So that they don't have to pass a law. And I'm like, here's the thing. I don't care about your executive order because I don't work for the executive branch, and you can suck my very little nuts. I don't care what you say. I'm not doing it.
But going through OSHA is slick, though,
I know folks that.
Yeah, because now, but here's the thing, man.
Now it's a safety thing. Now you're hurting your fellow man.
Yeah, well, here's my thing, man. I don't push religion at nobody. I don't care I don't care who you worship. I don't care what you do. Right. But here's the thing. I can show you in the Bible where it talks about you can't buy, sell, or trade.
Right.
We're getting to the point that if you don't have this vaccine, you're not going to be able to buy, sell, or trade because you ain't going to be able to have a job to fucking work to get money.
Right. And when are they going to come after my benefits?
Barnes,
and see, that's what I'm.
When are they going to come after our benefits? Those of us that earned and paid the price for our benefits just want to be left the fuck alone. Are they going to come and get our money?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before guys that have military retirements, they're going to go, you're going to get the shot or we're going to turn your retirement off.
Right. And then what do I get to do? Is that like this is where you guys got to watch me, Barnes, and all those that know me. This is where I'm going to do it. Barnes, I promise you when that's them fucking with my family. Like that's, and I can't control that. When they take away my money, I'm going to have to make a point.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing, man. I don't
want it to come to that, bro. I hope not.
But hey, when you make me decide between my family's going to starve or I'm going to get the shot, I'm not getting a shot.
No, and your family's not going to starve either, brother.
My family
I promise you that.
Starve because I can promise you that I'm going to take 20 years of military plus the time contracting, learning from professional shitheads.
Right. How to be a shithead yourself and go and do that.
Yeah.
Quick question.
You make me a fucking criminal. I will show you that.
Hey, just like you're the best soldier you could be, you'll be the best criminal you can be for your country and for your family. What were you gonna say, Navi?
So that the time from where we're at now to what you guys are talking about, right? I want to be very careful, but taking action, if you will.
Right, having to do something that no one wants to do.
It's all going to depend on how close it hits home to each and every one of us. Meaning, if it happens in a different state, you're reading about it, but once it starts getting closer and closer to your door.
Right, that's the problem. That's why I'm involved.
And that's that time right now where I worry. Like you look at
how long is that time? Is that time 20 minutes or 20 years?
Have you, Barnes? Have you read what's going on in Australia, for example?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, like that's crazy, dude. They're like fucking straight ass fucking tyranny.
Right.
You can't leave your house. You can't fucking go outside.
They're grabbing children and can you imagine somebody busting into your house, taking your child and then stabbing them? Or stabbing, giving them the shot. And you can't do anything about it.
Someone's getting shot. No, everybody's getting shot on that day. I promise you. And,
here's my
and that's why they want to take our guns away.
That's the difference between Australia and America.
Right.
They got no guns.
Right. And thank God we do have our guns. And thank God we're allowed to have our guns.
Yeah. If you think you're going to kick open my door and walk in and stab everybody with a needle, I hate to tell you, I'm going to put some hot shit in you.
Hot shit in you.
We were driving to pick up the car and for some reason it keeps I keep missing the fact that it's only been 10 months.
What?
With this president.
Oh yeah, man.
It feels like it's been 2 years.
Yeah, but it only took him 10 months to fuck it all up, man. We'll get somebody back in when this is over with that'll fucking fix it in 10 months.
Well, I keep telling my wife.
That's my hope and dream. I love this country.
To bring the great white hope back.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, I don't like politics.
Right.
But Biden's been in office like fucking 10 months, and he's done fucked up 2 countries.
Fucked them up, man. Fucked them all up, man. But hey, look, so I think we're at a good stopping point now. Like Barnes, this is not the end of the conversation. I think in another couple weeks we'll get on here and do this again and just keep rolling if you're cool with that, man. I think
man, just hit me
Tony is gonna be my man on the sideline for just being all things American. You know what I mean? Because it's fucked up, Tony. I think we're in a bad spot in the country, but like guys like you and me, like we smile and move on about it because we do know that it can be better. That the people that will make it better can be in those positions. Like it's a perpetual hope, and that's one thing about being an American and being a soldier. One thing about being a soldier was that there was always this perpetual light at the end of the tunnel. We, as sucky as things were, being in the field, being wherever, it sucked, but we always knew it got better when we got home. We always knew we were going to do something, you know what I mean? They're starting to fuck with our home, Tony, and so those of us that need to step up will step up if the time ever comes. We hope not, because, I sat down planning on sitting down for a long time. Not getting up, so hopefully that's where we stay. But man, I appreciate you doing this, man. Just talking, and we've done it. We've proved it in real life. We do it in person, but this is great. So Thank you, Tony, and good night. Tell everybody in North Carolina I say what up. Uncle Noodles will be down soon enough. We're going to North Carolina sometime in the next few months. So I'll let you know. We'll get together.
Well, let me know when you get down here, man. We'll link up again.
Yeah, we will for sure, man. I love you, brother. Take care of everybody, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Hey, one quick thing.
I'm gonna video that. Hold on, we're gonna give this to you before we put it. So I'm gonna send it to you. Hopefully, sometime in the morning. You tell me you like it, and then we'll post it. But then you share away because I'll be out of jail tomorrow.
Hey, I just want to say I got my shirt on that Benny Reynolds got me.
Fuck around and find out. Nice. What about Benny? That's someone we're gonna have to get. We're gonna have to have a reunion with him. Like. When I go to North, we're gonna do a show from North Carolina. He's another buddy
all
that's
the guys
down
that
there.
you mentioned.
Yeah, when I go home in a couple of weeks, when I come back to work next time, whether I got a job when I'm done or not, I'm still going to see my mom and dad.
Link up with Vinny.
I'm gonna go see Vinny because he got me this shirt and some cigars and a little Ranger lighter.
Yeah, he's the one that gave me a hatchet.
Yeah, so I ordered him a Whoopee hoodie. It's a poncho
I've
liner
seen
hoodie.
those. Yeah. I just rocked mine the other day when I rocked not a poncho. I have a field jacket liner. I was wearing it outside.
And that's all this is a field jacket liner
with a hood on it, right? It probably don't. Does it have the armpit holes?
No, it don't. It don't
armpit
fit.
holes are crucial, man. Yeah. See, that'll get you.
You guys gotta all try to see when you can fly out.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do like a thing, man. Well, we'll do podcasting, get a sponsor, and then have a sponsor, get a bunch of group of Alpha Company 2504 guys together and pay for the party.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, H- is in Fort Benning.
Yeah, he's right down there, right? He lives down there.
Yeah, and Contrado is right outside of Benning too.
Did he retire, Contrado? Did he stay in?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he retired as an E7.
Oh, y'all didn't stay tight then after you left Bragg. Yeah, instead.
I mean, we stayed in touch.
These two were like connected at the hip. When y'all were when y'all were roommates, y'all were some straight shit, man.
Yeah, next time we have to talk about some of the times we went to Chattanooga.
We do. That's why I need to get Billy on here. That's why I'm hoping this one turns out pretty good, and a couple of the guys will see it like, man, I need to get on there, and we'll have a couple. Like, I think we can put 3 or 4 of us on there. Yeah, we'll have fun, man. All right, Tony, I love you, man. I gotta drive back and get Molly this business.
Well, tell Miss Molly I said hey, and I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. I know, and that they should be scared of that, right? All we got to do is call each other, and we're there. That's scary.
Yep, I was gonna say because I don't know exactly where you are in Maryland, but I'll drive my happy ass right.
Yeah, Massengale will show you. It's where the goats will fuck you up, brother. All right, man. I love you. Have a good one. How do we turn this up? We will.
Take it easy.
All right, man.